What is going on, Florida State family? Seminole Nation, the 863 tribe. It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And I am smiling and laughing on this great early signing day, to be honest with you. Just because I know where these conversations will lead. We will have Kelvin joining us later. Shouldn't be too much later. I'm starting a little early, just in case some things I say, he doesn't have to try to co-sign. But no. In all seriousness, I am 100% good on today. I think today was fairly successful. I know there's obviously the one big recruitment that we are going to address, and we'll address that one shortly. But I think for the most part, man, it was kind of anticlimactic, like I said. Kind of anticlimactic, like I said. I mean, we had one issue, and again, we will address that. But I mean, you got everybody, man. Charles Lester that trolled everybody. As I told you yesterday, how he was doing the massive trolling, and he got everybody up until the last minute. As a matter of fact, said he was pushing his signing to Friday this time, and then sent his letter of intent about 10 seconds later. So good stuff from Charles Lester. And I do, as we do on all these early, on all these signing days. Now we'll do this. We'll definitely do this when Kelvin pops up. We are gonna go over just about every recruit. So I definitely want to do that. Give every recruit their shine. I want to focus on the players that actually decided to come to Florida State. But we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about KJ. We're going to talk about that one. I'm not going to waste any time on Armando Blount because we already did that. That one we knew was coming for miles away. And I also want to talk about Amari Williams. And I want to talk about Amari Williams to start this off real quick because I was not aware that he wasn't signing today. I was not aware that Amari Williams wasn't signing till February. And I have a problem with that, people. I have a problem with that, to be quite honest with you. FSU canceled a visit from a defensive end that ended up signing with Michigan that they were in play for in favor of a reclassification from 25 to 24 for Amari Williams, a kid that I was in the assumption, because in my head, right, it only makes sense that you cancel that visit for a sure thing. And instead, because like you still could have got Amari Williams to visit you if he's not signing until February. And instead, you canceled a visit of a guy who you were in the mix for, I think you could have pulled it off if you had really put your effort into it. Basically told him, no, you're good. We don't want you. And he's a damn good prospect, by the way, at like 6'7", 7-foot wingspan, like long defensive end, man. Anyway, you cancel that visit in favor of a reclassified, again, a 16-year-old that's not even signing till February, meaning he's going to have other visits. He's going to have other visits. You wasted the first visit. Like, you wasted, like, in my opinion, you wasted that. I think that is a very piss. And my thing is, like, again, we are going to talk about the positives of the team and obviously the guys that signed. But when we criticize recruiting and FSU's, they just just the closing of this staff, as we've kind of seen over the years, like that is a boneheaded mistake, in my opinion. That is something that a smart staff just doesn't do. And that is pretty, I think it's fairly obvious at this point. Um, I don't want to say they're not good at recruiting, but closing is not their strong suit as an entire staff. I don't think we close very well. I don't, for whatever reason, we don't. It's like the game plan at the end just isn't there. And I think, when I found out Amari Williams wasn't signing till February, I was like, wow, we dropped the ball there. I thought that was a fumble. I really did. And we'll see. Maybe they still get Amari Williams. I'm not so sure about that, guys. I'm not so sure about that now. I was very confident in that one until I found out he wasn't signed till February, because now you're allowing all these other schools to get in the game. So thought that was I thought that was a bad decision. Let's move to KJ Balden real quick. This is one that I don't, as some of the facts have came out, if you believe them or not. I won't say facts, but if some information has came out, I actually don't blame the staff for KJ, even though, I kind of said like this KJ Balden recruitment was looking very Kendrick Falkish. And it kind of turned out that way at the end. Here's why I don't agree. This is why I won't totally put the blame on the staff for KJ. They had KJ Balden on campus this past Saturday, and he was. Let me rewind. Let's rewind. KJ Balden, after today's flip to Georgia, said he had been committed to Georgia for at least 3 weeks. He said they said he knew that he was coming to Georgia for 3 weeks. Now, I don't have a problem with that if the staff knew. But if the staff knew, they wouldn't have had you on campus Saturday. If you knew that, why didn't you just decommit 3 weeks ago? I don't believe the staff knew KJ was doing what he was going to do. And I talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. And I talked about it a lot was it yesterday? Talked about this a lot yesterday. There's a right way to do business. In my opinion, KJ Balden didn't do business the right way. I think that is a bad look on his part. I am not a fan of the way that ended. Not because he didn't come to Florida State. Those things happen. But to be buddy with to be in the coaching staff's face on Saturday, basically playing in their face. And then Wednesday, here we are. It's one thing if he would have said, man, this was a tough decision, and I didn't make my mind up till last night or this morning. No, nobody has an issue. When you go and you say you've been committed to Georgia for the last 3 weeks, that's a slap in the face to Mike Norvell and company, in my opinion. And I don't know how you can blame the coaches for that. I don't know what you want a coach to do when he's being told one thing and something else happens, right? While I wholeheartedly put the blame on the coaches for the Amari Williams fumble, I'll call that, or potential fumble, because we still don't know where that kid's going to end up, or that young athlete. I don't call them kids. I do have a problem with KJ Balden's. If that is true, that he knew for 3 weeks. Again, that's not how you conduct business. I think there's a right and wrong way to do everything. And like I said before, as these young athletes get this amount of money, and I expect you to conduct business better with it. It's okay to just say, hey, guys, I'm decommitting. Georgia's where I want to go, blah, 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 or whatever the case was. But to do all that and be on campus Saturday, and I don't know. I'm just not – I'm okay with you lying to the reporters. Lie to them. Who cares about them? But the staff should have been given a heads up. Just my opinion on that one. So, yeah, KJ Balden is out of it. But, again, that's not something that I'm going to lose sleep over. It just is what it is. I mean, there is a trend there of Florida State, man. We do have these kind of fumbles down the stretch. But I actually think, all in all, man, this was a very successful recruiting class. So I don't really have a lot of complaints. The one complaints that I did have, I just got out there. The one complaint of the staff I have is that one, and then that's not a complaint of the staff. That's just more so I don't think a player conducted business the right way, which is what this is. I know we want to talk about this and that, but this is a business at the end of the day. Obviously, this is a business, and we can talk about the money and we can talk about all of that stuff. And when we conducting, my opinion, when you're conducting business, you got to act accordingly because you just never know, KJ. You might be in the portal in a year or two. You might not live up to the hype at Georgia, and Georgia might out recruit you, and you'll be in the portal looking for a home. Somebody will take you, but I don't know if it'd be Florida State if those reports are true. So, yeah, I just didn't like hearing that. Again, obviously you wanted him to stay. And again, I didn't have a problem with the flip. I mean, you have a problem with it, right? But it's like, okay, guys, flip. This is college football. This is recruiting. Flips happen. But when you say I've been committed to Georgia for 3 weeks, I'm like, wow, that's a slap in the face. Whether the parents had anything to do with that or not, I don't know. But it's a slap. First of all, I don't follow any of them. I don't follow any of those athletes on any of their social medias. I don't follow any of them. So that's your first mistake, Montre. Don't follow any of them. Get to the comments here in a second. Tyler says, this is the third time that's happened. It speaks to a larger issue. I agree. I agree in totality. If you look at this, their recruiting approach absolutely is a problem down the stretch. I think so. They hit the month of, I see you, Kelvin. I'll bring you here in a minute. They bring the heat literally in the summer. Like they go hard in the summer, and they usually have their classes done by August, September. And I think that's a solid strategy, but I don't know what it is about the end of it that it just seems to fall off. But let me bring Kelvin in here because I know he has some thoughts on some of this stuff. And again, I promise you guys, we are going to talk about the kids that actually signed to Florida State. I promise that. What's up, man? Can you hear me? Kelvin. I don't think Kelvin can hear me. Yeah, Kelvin. I hear you. I think we can hear you. I don't think you can hear me. Yeah, he can't hear me because he's not saying anything. Kelvin, can you hear me yet? No, he can't hear me. But I hear him. So let's see if he can get his Yeah, we can. Okay, I got you. Let me. Hear me. So I'm going to drop. I've just sent him a message. I'm gonna drop him out. We'll bring him back. He can't hear me. I'm gonna tell him to give me a thumbs up when he can hear me. Because I have him in the back, so he's gonna drop out and come back in. So Kelvin's having that technical difficulty, so I'll get back to the comments here. Bradley says, "POLK, I'm glad we kept Lester. The class is fine. Class is top 10 class, man, but it's not good enough. I think it's good. Top 10 class is good enough. I mean, I understand. I get it, but top 10 class gets the job done. It's not like Michigan's recruiting in the top 5 every year, and they're in the playoff in a year. I mean, that has something to do with scheduling and all that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, top 5 class is good enough. Top 10, I mean. I see it like if KJ committed to UJ in August and we signed this DB class, we would still be very happy. I agree. I'm still happy. I just know the class is, or I know the fans are like, I know y'all want to vent a little bit. So I'm allowing that. I'm allowing you that space. Um, yeah, I think it's a great class. Yeah, he's having technical difficulties. He dropped out, and we'll bring it back in. Um, Catching up here in the comments. Here's one. I think some people need to let it go. Let these young men do what they want to do. Today is only a day hours. I mean, yeah, they absolutely can do what they want to do. But I've said this before, and I'll say this again. And I know some don't agree, and some do agree. If you are paying $20 a month to these collectives, I would ask where my money's going, and I have a right to voice my opinion. Like we talk about the money and KJ leverage for a bag, and this Jeremiah Smith and a bag. That's all fine and dandy. Where's your $20 going? Battles and subscribers. So ultimately, um, they are kids, but that's what I got to say to that. Anyways, let's see if Kelvin's working right now.
Yeah, I think I'm good now, man.
Okay. Yep, I hear you.
All right, cool.
And you hear us.
My bad.
No, you good. Good. So let's get to Jeff real quick. Jeff, I see you with the $10. Appreciate you. He says hello. Just got here. You ain't really missed anything. Kelvin's here now. He's working, so we about to get it started for sure. So let's get this out the way, and then we're gonna get Kelvin on here to talk about his take on the KJ Balden situation. And then, like I said, I promise you we're going to talk about the actual people that signed to this class. Yeah. All right, brother. Your overall takeaway from today's signing day? Personally, I'm happy. I think it's a great class, and just everything that happened today. Go for it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. I think overall, I mean, aside from obviously losing Balden, you got to be excited with what the coaching staff did, whatnot. Met most of your needs. There's a couple spots that need some help expeditiously. But overall, you signed, it's like 70% blue chip, which is higher than both of your rivals by a good bit. And
Florida fell in the dirt today.
Yeah,
that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I saw they just lost somebody else. The receiver to A&M or somebody, I believe, last time I looked. So, but yeah, you hate to see the optics of losing, your top player, for the third year in a row. I mean, it just looks bad. But when you look at in totality over the last couple of years, it's something that they've obviously been able to overcome. But you got to figure out, why is that happening? But I think each scenario, each one has kind of been different, so to speak, to a degree. But they're all on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So, that kind of tells you. But overall, man, like I said, each class has gotten progressively better. I think we're like number 9. Now that we added the last D tackle from North Carolina here.
Yeah.
So top 10 class. Do some work in the portal, and you should be good.
What's your overall take with KJ though? Like, did you hear the report that he allegedly was committed to Georgia 3 weeks ago, but I guess kept that to himself? He had to keep that to himself because there's no way they would have brought him on campus Saturday if that was the case.
That was. I mean, that's the thing that would kind of give you hope, And I guess that's one thing I learned. This, I think we both have been doing this a long time. Either just casually before we even had a platform, and it's like all the rules you followed when it goes to like, hey, this is predictive as far as things trending well. and you get the kid on campus multiple times. He commits. You get the last visit right before signing period. You got the whole fam there. Grandpa in FSU shirt.
Everybody, bro. Like what?
Grandpa with FSU shirt. So it's like, okay, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, really, when you think about it. So I mean, the guy, I mean, he kind of gives you a half truth, half a lie, I guess, because that he was asked, "Are you going to visit Auburn?" He's like, "Nope," and he doesn't. So he doesn't lie. So he doesn't lie. So he doesn't lie about that part. And then he kind of gives you the, "Oh, you already know" type deal when asked if he's going to sign. So look, man, it's kids. I remember when I was in high school. I graduated when I was 17, and it's. You have to remember. I know a lot of our fans are wilding the hell out today. Like, look, y'all gotta chill, man. You're talking about 17-year-olds you're expecting them to make use logic and make rational decisions, but it's just not the case. And they got all these people in the ear. You know what I'm saying? And so you kind of have to remember that at the end of the day, whenever you expect things to go a certain way and they don't. I always fall back on that. Look, you talking about 17-year-olds, and a lot of times these kids have people that are around them that
they're definitely not getting great advice,
right?
And that includes their parents a lot of time,
right? And look, I'm a prime example, dude. My father turned 17 2 days before I was born, right? So my dad was a kid, basically,
with the kid.
With the kid. And so if you're expecting people that are, in these situations to make smart decisions, a lot of times that's not going to be the case. So you kind of have to always remember that when you're dealing with these high schoolers.
Okay, before we move to the actual signees, one more question. The Amari Williams situation. I did not know he was not signing today. And now I'm sitting here asking, why did we cancel a visit from a very solid prospect? And I want to know your take on that one. Yeah. I think that is a blunder, in my opinion. I think that's a bad decision.
Yeah, that's a bad decision. I think you and I kind of briefly chatted about that. And somebody was asking, like, why did anybody expect him to sign today? And it's like, well, if you're FSU, I don't bring him on an official visit. If I'm not certain he's signing, I'm not bringing him on an OV.
Or I could bring him on an OV mid-January.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying I don't bring him. Yeah, I don't bring him before the signing period. Yeah.
Why do I cancel, buddy? Why do I cancel the kid that's going to Michigan? Why do I cancel his visit?
Yeah. So it's like you kind of take that. You're like, okay. Well, if Armando's going to go there, you're thinking, okay, well, they're both reclassifying, both position, same position. So you're thinking, okay, this is replacement. It's somewhat, equates or whatever. But if I don't think he's signing, yeah, you just wasted an OV.
Yep.
Pretty much. And for what? So I don't know. And like I said, we don't, obviously you don't know all the details. Yeah. And I want to say a lot of times, usually Mike doesn't make emotional decisions or whatever. So I want to say like, hey, maybe, they kind of, maybe drop the ball a little bit and kind of panic, so to speak, whenever, Armando told him he was flipping or whatever. And maybe they kind of rushed into that thinking like, okay, maybe they put a little too trust in how the OVs usually go. Hey, we got a high hit rate on OVs and all that. We can get it done if we bring them in.
Yeah.
And maybe that was it. I really, like I said, it really doesn't make sense why they did that. So yeah, if they don't, if they don't sign them, I mean, yeah, you just wasted the opportunity, really.
I agree. I just I was actually shocked when I heard that. Somebody was like, yeah, he's not signing until February. I'm like, what? So
yeah.
Yep. Let's move to the actual guys who are part of the tribe of 24, because we got some good players. I know everybody wants to be in panic mode about all this stuff, but look, you lost really one guy that you were expecting, and that's Armando. That's KJ. Everybody kind of knew. Well, everybody knew when Armando's mom said she'd be in Miami in December. Like, everybody knew what was going on with that one. So it was kind of like
she tagged all the coaches like, "We'll see you on the 20th." It's like, what?
Like, oh, didn't even give the guy a chance to decommit, just pretty much spoiled his moment. But hey, that's his mother, so she can do what she wants. We'll start from the bottom to the top. And Jack Weinberg. I mean, we got a kicker. I don't know much about him, to be honest, but it goes to American Heritage. We don't have to waste a lot of time on the kicker, but we do have a kicker, Jack Weinberg. Let me bring him up here.
He got a big leg. I think he's made quite a few, like well over 60, like pretty easily from some film I've seen. But doing it in the high school and then doing it in in front of 75, 80,000 is you just got to do it. You got to have the opportunity. See how it shakes out.
There he is on the screen. So he is the lowest rated recruit that FSU signed, and he's a kicker. So you don't expect like a top 10 kicker, like that'd be ridiculous.
Right.
Next guy on the list, Jaden Todd. This is an interesting prospect because he has some really good size to him. Obviously, he's a project, but for me, I don't know your necessary take on offensive linemen. I don't really look at stars when it comes to O linemen. I kind of look at offers, and he doesn't really have an elite offer list. I think I have it on the screen here, but I do. I like to look at measurables and all kind of things when I look at offensive linemen. So, what's your thoughts on Jaden Todd? A solid project guy, in my opinion, but he's definitely a project. Don't expect.
Yeah, definitely a project. I'm with you. Usually your offensive line is one of the more difficult ones to rank accurately. One thing I noticed is a lot of his offers are Ivy League schools, so obviously he's smart.
Smart kid, yeah.
You need on the O-line. You have guys that they're not knowing what they're doing. So, 6'6", 315. Like you said, you're gonna need a year or two to develop like the rest of the guys they've signed out of high school. So
he definitely has the size. I mean, at 6'6", 315, he's definitely got the size. I'd be curious to know where they see him at. Is he I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen. I'm looking at some pictures of him right now. I'm trying to see his arms in the sling. They're trying to see if I can see how big his wingspan is. I don't know if he doesn't necessarily look like he has a huge wingspan, but these are hard to tell from these pictures.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're looking at him inside or outside type of guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6'6", so I would think he was got to have at least adequate.
But I mean, he's listed as an offensive tackle, but we know that can all change.
Yeah.
So Jaden Todd, man, welcome to the class of 24. I mean, you're in good hands with Alex Atkins as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not mad at that signing at all. Let's go to the next one. Out of South Carolina. And some of these guys, if they have film, we will check the tape out a little bit. Some of these lower guys don't really have film connected to their profiles. But Tamir Hickman, let me pull him up. There he is. Here he is. Tamir Hickman Collins, linebacker, South Carolina. This is another guy, man. One of those Randy specials. I don't want to say he's a good or bad take. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. So, any thoughts on Tamir?
No, I mean, really, when you think about it, he's about the same size as Kalen was. Kalen DeLoach was coming out of high school. So, he fits a mold, like I said, so to speak. And we saw what Kalen developed into.
That's his offer list, by the way. So not really. Again, I'm not gonna. I'm glad to have the guys who signed. Man, I'm glad to have wholeheartedly. So I don't want to. We can do that another time. But not a stellar offer list by any stretch. But he's 6'1", 218. I mean, again, that's the prototype for Randy Shannon, and we'll see what he's able to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been committed. When did he commit? He's been committed for a little minute, I think.
They took it over the summer. I think it was a while. They kept in contact with him, and then eventually, I think he eventually committed over the summer, late summer, something like that. Here's
an interesting one. The next guy up on the list. as we continue going down through the class of 24. Jamori Flagg, defensive tackle, 6'3", 300 pounds, out of Miami, Florida. So he's a South Florida guy. He had 7 offers. Colorado, FIU, Florida offered him. So there you go. Florida saw something in him, I guess. This is another one where interesting. But here's the thing. I might give I give Odell slack for recruiting. Usually when he gets these guys on campus, though, he gets the most out of them. So if he sees something in Flagg, hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. He reminds me of, there was a kid, there was a legacy kid a few years ago, probably like 8 or 9 years ago. I can't remember his name, but I remember thinking out of high school, like, man.
Are you talking about? You said legacy kid.
Yeah.
We're talking about Marvin Jones' nephew, Fred Jones.
Yeah. Fred. Like Fred,
Yep.
Coming out of high school was like,
Fred ended up being a solid player, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He turned into, he was adequate at least.
Yeah, he was a solid player. He wasn't a star, but he was definitely like a solid rotation guy. So I hear you. I hear you on that. Yeah. I don't know if there's a high ceiling on Flagg, but again, this is a guy that they took early.
Yeah.
And they saw something in him that they liked.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get more offers after he committed so early and everything. So that's one thing that kind of, I was like, I wonder why, but we'll see.
All right, next guy up. This is I like this one. This next guy, he's one of the more, in my opinion, he's my second favorite recruit of this class, and I think he's very underrated. I watched this guy against the Jeremiah Smiths of the world, and I watched him do a damn good job against the number 1 player in the country. So Ricky Knight III is the next guy up here on the list. Again, y'all know me. I'm a straight shooter. I don't tell you everybody's underrated or whatever, but I think Ricky Knight's the real deal, to be quite honest with you. What do you think, man? What's your thoughts on Ricky?
I agree. He a dog. He a dog for sure. Like you talking about, 6 feet, got good length, good instincts. I like him a lot. Got Miami was interested. He went on a visit there. So, I like Ricky a lot. I think Ricky would be a player for sure.
Yeah, 14 offers, and his offers is now that's a solid offer list. Obviously, Miami, Illinois, Iowa, Louisville, Penn State, A&M, Pitt. That's a solid offer list. I think, again, Ricky Knight, if you've watched him play, he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yep, A&M. Yep. So Wake Forest always get a couple sneaky little DBs from South Florida. So I like Ricky a lot. Ricky would be a player.
Got to put some weight on him, obviously, at 168. But I mean, you could probably say that about most of the DBs. That's just how high school DBs are built. Majority anyway. So, but it's from West Palm Beach. So, of course, you got a South Florida kid. I always take them Palm Beach kids. Personally, I think Palm Beach is a better recruiting area than Dade County. I know that's going to make some people mad, but I think if go look, man, a lot of dynamite players out of Palm Beach. So I put respect on Palm Beach. So Ricky Knight, though, that's legit my second favorite player in this class. Again, I saw him play very well against Jeremiah Smith. Next up on the list, another Randy Shannon guy. I actually think this is the backer that they're really high on. So I'm not saying they're not high on Tamir, but they love Parrish. Let me bring him up here. They love Jaden Parrish. Apparently, I'll be honest with you. Let me see. He might have some actual tape to watch. I didn't check and see if Ricky had any tape. What are people not? There's his gallery. Nope. No tape, I don't think. Okay. My bad. Great live streaming right now. But can y'all see that? There he is. Jaden Parrish. 6'1", 210, Delray Beach. They like him a lot. Apparently he has good tape. Usually they link their highlight tapes to their 247 profiles. I don't see that though.
Yeah, I don't see there. He was productive. I mean, as a junior, 150 tackles. Like you said, it's a typical Randy. I think they do kind of weigh production in high school a bit more, I guess, than other things. So 6'1", 210. So like you said, that typical
Randy Shannon build.
The frame.
That's what he likes.
Yeah. I will say though, we may differ on this. I mean, I think I don't put as much weight in linebacker recruiting. I mean, it's important, but I mean, this year was a prime example. If you have a really good D line and a good secondary, you can hide the linebackers a little bit. Unless you're just running up on certain offenses. I don't know if they have that philosophy. I don't know what goes into how they recruit linebackers.
Well, here's my only problem with what you're saying. That would make a lot of sense if we were like killing the defensive line recruiting.
Right.
We're not doing either.
That's the thing, and what it is, I think really is you just got to get younger on that staff, man. I mean, think about it. Think about if you were, I'm 45. Think about if you, and hell, I guess I'm pretty up to date on tech stuff, but if you're like 60 and like the grind you got to put in with these young kids, texting and, FaceTime and just phones, man, if you're 60, you don't have that energy, man.
I don't disagree.
And it's like, it is what it is, so yeah, you're right though. And I guess that, they're going to go to the portal for defensive tackles. And maybe I know they got to get a couple ends, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that's my take on linebacker recruiting.
I think those are the only two linebackers. Look, I don't know, linebacker. Again, if you're recruiting the trenches a lot better, then I'd be like, okay, I see a vision here. But it's like right now in that entire room, you have one blue chipper, and that's Blake Nicholson. So for me, it's like, but we'll see how the Omar Grahams turned out and the Wards and some of these other guys. I mean, Cryer didn't look half bad some of the times I saw him in games. So we'll see how some of these guys end up turning out. Next up on the list, another project offensive lineman. Now this guy, Ty Hilton. I'm going to see if I can show some pictures of him. He has a nice frame. Guys built like him, I get very look at that. That's a kid that has a lot of room to grow. Mm-hmm. And you have to. When I see that, I get excited about offensive linemen that look like that in high school because he has a lot of room to put on some really good weight. I mean, I don't know what's your thoughts on Ty Hilton. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, good, 6'4", 270. Obviously, like you said, you're going to need some time in strength conditioning, which, 99% of offensive linemen need anyway.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, you got something to work with there. Like you said, you trust Alex Atkins to develop him. And yeah, I mean, especially in a year where you don't have a ton of just great offensive linemen coming out of high school. So,
the offensive tackle class for sure was down this year.
Yeah,
it was down this year. But yeah, I again another intriguing prospect. 14 offers. Florida offered, Miami offered, Penn State. Those are kind of the big ones. Pitt, Rutgers, A&M offered this one too. All the Florida schools actually looked like they offered. USF, UCF, Florida, Miami, Florida State. So they wanted them. They got them. They're going to throw some weight on him, get him in that Built by Storms program, and we'll see what I think I heard that they want him as a center. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what they're leaning to with him.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, he's the only one I think of the four that would be able to fit that mold, I think.
Yeah. So That's a kid that, you might not even have to put. You're talking about center. He's already 270, 6'4", 270. Get him up 20 pounds. You might be good there. You probably you don't need to put a crazy amount of weight on him if center is what you're thinking.
Right.
Next guy up. This is another one I like a lot. For one, because we just need defensive linemen, but this is 6'6", 250 defensive lineman. Has the frame to move inside if they want him to. I think they'll use him on the outside because of his length. D.D. Holmes, welcome to the tribe. Let me bring him up here so we can see him. And there he is. Out of Washington, D.C. So that's one of your DMV guys. And he actually has a highlight tape. So let's check that out, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
We'll hurry up and what's the there we go. Let's watch. Can y'all see it? No, you can't see it. Hold on. That off. What's your thoughts on Holmes while I bring this up, though?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. 6'6", 250. So he's already got really good size coming out of high school. So he shouldn't take as long to get on the field. That's a lot of the defensive ends coming out of high school. That's their problem, just physically not ready to play. And think of Patrick Payton. Back when he was a freshman. I mean, he was 210, 215 coming out of high school.
Oh, Pat was tiny coming out. Yeah.
So he's already got 30, 40 pounds. Like you said, got good length, good size. So and I think we used to recruit the DMV real good, man. Way back in the day on the Jimbo.
There was a time where we lived.
I got excited.
There was a time where we lived in that Virginia area.
Yeah. So I like him though.
Okay, here we go. Number 0, it looks like. I mean, right off the bat, you see how big he is, man. That's a big kid. That's I think, obviously he gonna need some work on it. Is he playing tight end or something?
Yeah, he played both sides of the ball.
Okay, I had no idea. It's like, why are they throwing the ball at them in the end zone? Okay. There he is, basically being tackled from behind and still getting the sack.
Yeah.
So he's got the size, man, for sure.
Yeah, I see somebody in the comments said a 3-star defensive end. He's a 4-star composite.
Yeah, he's a composite 4-star. So
yeah, he's got a 90 grade, man.
Yeah, he's not a bad prospect at all.
Yeah.
There he is, sealing the edge. Now I don't know the level. I don't know the level of this competition he's playing in Maryland, right?
You're right.
Because he looks like the biggest kid on the field. Like, he looks like the biggest athlete on the field. Really kind of doesn't look close. Definitely needs to get stronger. But that's, all high school kids. So, not a long highlight tape. That's it right there. It was only 1 minute and 34 seconds. So, take from that what you guys will. But again, I like the upside of D.D. Holmes, so we'll see what he ends up being. But anytime you get me 6'6", 250, I will gladly take that. Let's move on to the next guy. The next guy we just signed. Talk about big bodies. 6'4", 333-pound Denaz White is in the building. This is one that I wanted. Again, we just need guys up front, but he's going to fill that nose guard role. Come on, give us your tape.
Yeah, I mean, he's from outside of Charlotte here in my home state, and that area they play pretty high quality football for North Carolina, and North Carolina, they got a reputation for producing. We got a reputation for producing good defensive tackles. He's a kid that obviously he's going to need to reshape his body a little bit. Probably need to slim down, shape up a little bit. If he get like 315-ish, 320,
for sure. I think
got a good motor.
they'll cut weight on them at first, and then they'll try to put the weight back on them in the right way. I think that's usually how that works.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
watch.
got a good motor though, So it's a solid take at this point, considering what we had at going into signing day.
Allegedly, now this is when you believe who you want to believe, man. This is from the 247 guys. They apparently liked him better than some of the higher rated guys on their board. Now that could all just be a spin because let me turn that down because that's who they ended up with. But let's see. This tape's up. Should be on the screen. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what Denaz White is looking like here. Here we go. So that's him, obviously. Yeah, right there. Let's see what we got. Yeah, the center had no chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he keeps good pad level most of the time, man. He stays low and he drives real well from what I saw. I watched some tape on him a little while back when it looked like we were going to get him.
Oh, you did? Okay. This is actually my first time watching him, so.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Yeah. He's a big boy, man. Like I say,
but yeah, 6 foot, 300 plus. This is what I want to see. I want to see you manhandling guys. I want to see you a little spin move there. Nothing too crazy. How long is this? This is about 5 minutes, so we don't have to watch the whole thing, but I do want to give the people a decent look who may be watching them for the first time of what you're getting here. So his size is impressive, and look, you're gonna need that when you look at some of the guys you have and that you're losing. You're gonna need to replace them.
Yeah, look at that,
and he gives you that, and he's definitely gonna give you that at 6'4", 330 plus pounds. Now, is that his playing weight? I don't know. They might try to get him down in the 320s, because like right here, in my opinion, he definitely looks like he's a little out of shape. So they're gonna they'll get better weight on him. Does kind of look a little out of shape, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not gonna watch all 5 minutes of this, but like they didn't even block him right there. Let me see. He comes back. Oh, well, that wasn't no highlight. I don't know.
Right.
Watch this last one. I'm just curious to see what he does here. Okay. So we'll move on. This is one of the next guy, man. This is some of the guys' favorite commits right here. That's a legacy. Our own Julian Edelman, Camden Fryer, signs with the Knowles, and I think Bama wanted him at one point or something. So I know a lot of people were happy to keep him, and he is a legacy player. So, what's your thoughts on Camden? And no tape attached to his channel, but
I think Vitus 33 in the comments has echoed what everybody hopes.
What he said.
He got one of those pain in the ass receivers like Clemson.
Yep, that's we got a Julian Edelman, man. We got him. Got our Wes Welker, whoever you want to compare him to.
Yeah. We haven't had one of those like shifty dudes though in the slot.
No, not really. Not. What Kenny Shaw was kind of like that.
Kenny Shaw,
always
DJ Matthews. When he was had his head on right and was healthy.
Right. Kenny Shaw was probably the last like real legit slot guy. I think where you needed the chains moved, Kenny was always gonna move those chains for you.
Somebody said has FSU. Yeah, his dad played at FSU. In the comments, said has FSU ever had a white receiver? His dad played at FSU as a receiver.
A white notable, should I say, notable receiver.
Yeah.
Probably not that I can think of.
Yeah.
So that Matt Fryer's boy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's oh, I didn't even bring him up. Dang, my bad. There he is. 5'11", 175 again. That's just slot guy, man. And apparently he's really good. No film attached to his profile, but I've heard nothing but good things about him. So, and we got a good receiving class, so you got to have different types, and he definitely fits the mold there. He's been committed for a while, yeah. So I know we're glad to have Camden Fryer.
Yes, sir.
And then the next guy right above him, this is a guy who I think is really good too. Also a baseball player, so he's right up your alley.
Yeah, baby.
That's BJ Gibson. So let's throw him up here. And what's your thoughts on BJ?
Man, BJ, man, surprised me. I watched some film on him a while back, and he's actually a much better route runner than I gave him credit for. And yeah, he's smooth, man. He seems like a guy that can do a lot of different things. You know, he's got 6 feet, 6 feet 190-ish, something like that.
Yeah, 6 feet 180, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like him.
Very solid offer sheet, man. Stanford, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, NC State, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Like that's you know. So they wanted them. I don't know how many of those schools. Some of those schools probably also wanted him for baseball, obviously, but
yeah. My only question with him is like, look, being a college baseball player, like baseball, like football is. I mean, look, it's a year round, bro.
Yeah,
and it is incredibly difficult to play both at a high level. So I just wonder, at what point is he gonna have to choose one or the other? That's the only thing I worry about with him. You know, and it's incredibly.
Do you know what position he plays in baseball?
He's outfield. He can hit, and he can mash. You know, he hits bombs. You know, so you know, who knows if he plays at FSU and plays well. You know, I mean, he could go in the draft. But look, baseball is incredibly difficult to make it to the majors. It's
yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, I play with guys out. You know, he's like, bro, how in the hell you didn't even get drafted? Then you know, it's a lot of politics too. But that's the only thing with him. I just wonder if he going to be able to give both enough attention to be effective at either one.
Well, what I do know is I think he got a solid receiver right here. You spoke on it. His highlights aren't attached, but I did watch a video of him a while back, and he is a very, very smooth athlete when you watch him. Like he's a extremely smooth athlete, just all around. I wouldn't call him explosive or twitchy, but just probably faster than he looks, just smooth in and out of his breaks, like just a smooth athlete all around.
Kind of like a Ontario Wilson kind of.
I can see that too. Like
something like that.
Yeah,
you know, just sneaky pull away from you.
Yep, I like that actually. I like that. Next up, one of the more interesting prospects committed to Florida State. And the reason I say that, I think he's a good player, had a bunch of offers. But he is a 5-star on one site, a 3-star on another site. Ends up being a composite all-around 4-star and a borderline top 100 guy. But Jonathan Daniels, list him as an offensive tackle, doesn't look like an offensive tackle. So I've always said this about Jonathan Daniels. I'm glad to have him. Obviously, some people are higher on him than others, but he's just an intriguing prospect because I don't know what he is. If you ask me, he looks like an inside guy. But then when you actually look at him, and let me check some of his pictures out. This picture is perfect to what I'm talking about. He's 6'3", but look at where his arms are.
Yeah.
His wingspan's ridiculous. That's probably why they look at him as a tackle, because he's 6'3", but it looks like he has a 7-foot wing. Now, I don't know his exact measurements, but look at those arms. He's got monkey arms. His arms are past his knees, bro.
Yeah, I read. It's something crazy. It's way
Look at that.
past 6'3". I think I
Look,
want to say it was something like 78 to 80 inches, something like that. I read
that's
somewhere.
ridiculous. You can see it like just from these
Hmm.
pictures. It's ridiculous. So he's a very intriguing prospect.
This cat has 11-inch hands. God,
He's a
that's
freak.
crazy.
Like, let's look at his body. His body composition is kind of freaky looking. If he was 6'5", he'd definitely be a consensus like 5-star.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see where they play him. All those things. But this was kind of one of the big recruiting wins because Georgia apparently was sneaking in there late for this recruitment. I think Kentucky was also in the mix here.
Hmm.
And then you look at that offer sheet. I mean, that every SEC team is on this list pretty much. You go to Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Miami, LSU, Florida. Like, you can just look at the list, man. 28 offers. So he was viewed high by a lot of teams.
Yep.
Any more thoughts on Jonathan Daniels?
No, I mean, I think we covered it, man. Like I said, another guy they're gonna have to get in here and get in the weight room and figure out what position he's gonna play and then go from there. But you always take a guy like this if you can get him on the O line for sure, especially in state.
I agree. Good stuff with Jonathan Daniels. Apparently, there was some late concern with him, which I wasn't tracking until after he actually sent in his letter of intent. So I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, apparently his dad was trying to tell the staff that he wasn't gonna sign until Friday. He didn't, no particular reason why, or it wasn't mentioned. But I guess they were like, look here, you can sign, or we can portal or something, and they went ahead and signed maybe. Because it wasn't too long after that he sent his letter in.
Okay, I wasn't even tracking that.
Yeah, that's what according to, give me good credit to the 247 guys.
Okay,
yeah,
good credit to those guys. Those guys have good, solid information. Don't get me wrong. Elijah Moore, man. Some people think that this is the best wide receiver on the board. Now, I don't think that, but that doesn't mean I don't think this guy's a great talent. I mean, Ohio State wanted him apparently, and they wanted him pretty badly. He also shot way up the rankings during the season. He ends up, as you see here. Hold on, did I bring him up? No, they're just looking at me and you. Hold on. I'd be forgetting to put him on there. There we go. You can see here he's 165 nationally. But when he signed to Florida State, he wasn't. I think he was just a 3-star. Like, he shot up the recruiting rankings. 6'4", big long wide receiver, and he's got a highlight tape that we'll check out here in a second. But I want your thoughts on Elijah Moore. Some people think he's the best in the class. I'm a little bit more partial to McCoy, but Elijah Moore, if you told me he's the best, I won't argue with you.
Nah, I wouldn't say he's the best. I mean, as far as his physically gifted, I mean, just a catch radius, body control, huge hands. He catches the ball well away from his body. He's not, obviously the big guy, so he's not going to be the most technical route runner. So he's going to have to improve on that. But I mean, he's one of those cats. If you can get it in the vicinity, he can catch it. I mean, I've seen some of his highlights, and it's like, 50-50 balls, or it's kind of like Keon Coleman would say, they're not 50-50 balls, but I like him a lot. He's somebody, he's a good complement to what you have coming in. He's 6'4", 200. Most of the other guys 6 feet, 180, 190. So he's that big body guy you kind of need.
Well, here you guys go. Let me restart it because you guys didn't see the first highlight. But this is what you're getting, man. This is number 4 out there by himself. Just 6'4", again, jump ball type guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at that route he just ran, it was like it was just raw. He was just give me the ball, and you went up and got it.
That's him with a tackle. So hey, got to move him. Maybe KJ. Who needs KJ Balden, man? Put Elijah. Now that's actually a pretty good release right there. Oh, he just found him.
He just walked away from him.
Yeah. But Not bad.
Ooh.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad route running right there. So
See that catch with his hands?
He's a big fluid athlete with good big hands, good hands. Here he is. Nice one hand grab right there. So you got you got you one here with Elijah Moore for sure. And again, Ohio State wanted this. So that means we know Ohio State's history with these wide receivers. So if they wanted them, you got a good one. And that's just routine catch right there. Nothing special. I do like nice stiff arm, but I do like every catch is away from the body. Like he definitely catches his hands with his hands. And again, he hits. You don't need KJ Balden, bro. Put Elijah Moore out there at safety. Probably bum.
Look at that. Give me that.
Yeah. Might have your next Keon Coleman right here, guys. I know that's a big expectations to put on him, but probably rated about the same. Actually, probably rated higher than Keon was coming out of high school, if I'm not mistaken. I think Keon was a low 4-star, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. I think Keon was like 91-ish. And they got more at 93 in the composite.
I think Keon might have been like 89 or something.
Let me see. I got it right here. Look at it real quick. He was.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, he was 89. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's him in the open field right there. That's a good highlight. That's kind of what you also want to see. Now, as you see, he doesn't really have any breakaway speed there, but you don't expect that from a long strider. But he had pretty decent moves in the open field right there. And he's strong, and he should be strong at 6'4".
Yes.
And here he is again. I like to see these little quick catches where he gets some moves in. All right, so there's Elijah Moore, man. I think everybody's happy with Elijah Moore. Good pickup right there, man. Really good wide receiver. Got a super chat I want to hit on real quick. Signing day just isn't hit the same anymore. I want to be excited about getting these kids, but chances are you won't get most of them developed due to the portal. That's coming from Super Herald 32. I will agree with you with this. It's hard to get excited when half of your class may very well not end up graduating, or you won't end up seeing them like go to the pros from your school. Like, I agree with that to a certain point. It's hard to get excited about some of the class when, I mean, you're just not going to see them. Like they're not going to do anything for you. What do you think about what Superhero's talking about here, Kelvin?
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, you got example after example of guys, even highly ranked guys signing, hitting the portal after a year. It's like just because you sign them, I mean, don't really mean much. I mean, because they can just leave if they want to after a year.
I would even argue, especially some of your higher rated guys, you got to recruit. You're going to have two different recruiting cycles on some of these kids that you want to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, obviously, you'll like push out. I don't know if that's the correct term, but you'll let them go. Some of these guys you got to recruit twice.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate that. Appreciate that super chat, Super Herald. And let's see. I'll go with this one.
Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing shit that they did in the studio.
So let's go to the next. Who's after? Ooh, this is a good one. The lightning to the thunder in that backfield, man. Arguably the fastest player in the state. Right out of the 850. I'm actually kind of angry that there's no highlight tape attached to this profile. But Mekhi Danzy, man. Excited about Mekhi. I really am. The floor is yours, Kelvin.
Yeah, it's good. It's good they can finally get a local kid of this caliber to sign.
Yeah. That's true.
One.
That's true.
It's been a minute, man. Yeah, like you said, really good speed, excellent speed. You can use them in a lot of different ways. You're gonna need to get in the weight room.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a really good take, man. Like you said, good complimentary back to Cameron Davis. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table.
All right. What do you guys think about Mekhi? Again, this is the running back room. I don't think, as long as Mike Norvell's the head coach, that's probably one position I'll never worry about. Is that running back room, and they keep getting guys like this. It's going to be no knock on Rodney Hill or anything. I wish hope he finds a place to play, but they're starting to get guys like this. You got Singleton last year, who's also known as a speed guy. Mekhi Danzy. We got another running back that we're going to talk about here shortly. Like, you're getting guys like this. That ceiling, that room's loaded. That room's going to be really good. You saw what they did with a guy like Trey Benson, who's a physical freak himself. Yeah. Look forward to Mekhi Danzy.
Yeah.
He has his Olympic speed. He reminds me of Toafili. He's more explosive than LT. He's more explosive than LT.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Next up after Danzy is this is my favorite guy. I saw this guy, man. I saw LaWayne McCoy, man. I saw him play Sean Madad. And in my opinion, I've said this before, he was the second best player on that field. And that you're talking about a field with Zaquan Patterson, JoJo Trader, and Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith was the best player on that field, but this guy was the second best player on that field. I think he's better than JoJo. I think he's the best wide receiver in this class. This is my favorite player in this class. When I say dog, that's what I mean here. I know a dog when I see one, and I think you got one here, LaWayne McCoy. I think you got certified wide receiver number one here. And I know he doesn't have the build of one, but you got a dog here, man. I really believe that in LaWayne McCoy. And he's got some highlights, so we'll check those out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. He's definitely better than JoJo. JoJo's a lot more raw. And like I said, this is a typical South Florida dog right here.
Yeah.
A lot to like about him. Plays both ways. This is one of those cats too that this recruitment was kind of weird, and you didn't know if you were going to hold on to him, and so they were able to do that. So credit to the staff. If we're going to criticize them, we got to give them credit when they.
Oh, definitely got to give them credit, because you're right. There was a lot of smoke originally. At one point, I didn't think they were going to sign him, and
yeah, I didn't either.
I think you were valid if you believe that. His mom had never been to Tallahassee until this past weekend. Like, I was even after this past weekend, I was kind of like, oh, that's his first time his mom's met the staff? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
There was a lot of controversy around his initial commitment because he committed on a visit where none of his family was there. So a lot of your Miami insiders, or whatever you want to call them, they were saying that there's no way he sticks. Just so the nature of that commitment was just out of nowhere. They were all convinced that that FSU pressured him into that commitment. They did not believe this is not LaWayne McCoy. What is this? But they were not convinced that that he was gonna stick. So they definitely ended up pulling this one out and getting them to stay. And
yeah, I mean he commits in April and he doesn't come back to campus until the fall.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. So got to give him credit, man. Like I said, it's a dog. I like him a lot. Good playmaker right there for sure.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get some type of highlights of him, but these ads are taking forever. This is more of his 7-on-7 stuff, but I think you'll get an idea of just the athleticism and stuff like that. I was hoping they had some more game stuff on here, but here he is. Oh, can y'all see that? Did I bring it up? I have a tendency. No, I didn't even bring it up. Hold on. I keep talking before I bring up the tape. Let me get this up here. as you can see, who's sponsoring this video. So they thought they were always getting him. I'll make it bigger. Let's watch some of this stuff. Not a long clip, so about 3 minutes. But again, you're going to get an idea of what you're getting. I'm just warming up here. Nice one-hand catch.
Dude, just smooth, man.
You see the crazy. Yeah, see the body control right there. See the athleticism. You see the terrible dance moves. And he's real long, man. Like he's only listed at 6 foot, but I mean, you can rangy athlete. So again, I'm excited for this one. I think he's the best receiver in the class, and I think him and Elijah Moore complement each other extremely well. Add a B.J. Gibson or Fryer in the slot. I mean, your future wide receiving core is looking very good.
Ooh,
yeah. When he leaves his feet, and right there he's being held. But you see the explosiveness. Like if he's not held right there, he runs by that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
There he is on the outside. Bam.
Yeah, he catches everything with hands too.
And there's more dancing.
Yeah, their receiving core, man, they're gonna be set up. I mean, you got Vidrivius, you got Destin Hill. I mean, they're all gonna be sophomores next year. And you got this whole crew coming in. I mean, they're gonna be set up in a couple of years. Really, really nice. Gonna have hopefully good quarterback play. So the future's bright if they just keep if you keep everybody together and everything.
Right.
You never know how things shake out nowadays. Boy, it's crazy out there.
And my tripping was Colorado. I think Colorado currently sits at 5 actual signees.
You're right.
It's something crazy like that. Like they only have 5 people actually signed to the class.
They never got more than 10 the whole cycle.
And Seaton's obviously not about to stick. And why would he stick? I mean, you don't sign a guy like that and he's not going up there with anybody to play with. So it's like, and I don't want to make this a Colorado thing, but you tell me a guy's a recruiter and this is what I'm looking at. Come on. I mean, I think
we try to tell them
the mask is, that like all the glitz and glamour is kind of off of what was going on up there. Y'all know what it is.
Y'all know
what it is. Here he is. We talked about Lightning. Well, you want to talk about loyalty and all of that stuff, man, and a guy who just never wavered. Hey, you gotta love this. Love him for nothing else than the fact that he never wavered. But we talked about Lightning. Let's talk about Thunder. He's a top 100 player, 69 nationally, the third running back according to the composite, he's the third running back in the country. 12th running back in the state, 12th player, in the state of Georgia. But that's Mr. Cam Davis.
Grown man, boy. Whew.
Yes. Built like a bowling ball.
Yes, sir.
Someone made a comparison. Cam Davis is your Leon Washington and Danzy's your Lorenzo Booker. I don't know if it's interesting, but yeah. Cam's definitely 23 offers, and again he's talking about he's a different young man. Like he's not about the glitz and the you listen to his interviews and he's just not about the stuff that usually a kid in 2023 is about. He didn't care so much about the social media aspects of things. Just very different. This is a guy that they definitely can not only be proud of getting, but I think build around. Yeah,
he's physically ready to play. I mean, he's mature physically. He's mature mentally.
Yeah.
Somebody that I listened to an interview with him the other day, and he said that he wants to he want to come in and try to take nobody's position, but he wants to be a leader and he wants to wants to get on the field and all that good stuff. So exactly what you want from somebody like him.
Yep.
He's somebody I think that can put up crazy numbers in Mike Norvell's offense. For sure.
Don't disagree. He's again, you see what Trey Benson, even not just Trey Benson, but you look at what Jayshon Corbin was able to do.
Jayshon Corbin, LaDamian Webb.
Yeah, like Cam Davis might be the first like legit like and like blue chipper. Because even Jayshon Corbin, who was a blue chipper, but he was coming off a knee injury. Mm-hmm. Trey Benson had a knee injury. Like, you're getting Cameron Davis here. I'm just gonna 5'10", and again he's low. Like what is Trey Benson, like legit 6'1"?
Mm-hmm.
Cam Davis is 5'10", so he's got low center of gravity.
Yeah, 5'10".
Bill, that's gonna be a hard guy to get on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You should be excited. Let me bring up some highlights of him. We're gonna watch a little bit of his highlights from his junior season. This is junior season. He didn't have any senior season highlights. But it's all the same. Hold on, let me bring it up. I always start talking before I actually bring it up. There we go. Let's pay a little bit of attention to his highlights. Only 4 minutes long, so we'll watch. He had 3,000 total, almost 4,000 total yards. He's playing quarterback right here. What is it about these running backs always playing quarterback? Cam Akers was the same way. Quarterback playing running back. Or running back playing quarterback. Just ran. Wow.
Yeah.
He hit that guy so hard the cameraman shook all the way in the bleachers.
Right. Yeah, he's low. Damn, he's low.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna he's not quite as short as Maurice Jones-Drew, but that's who he looks like running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yep.
Just a short, stocky. That'll be hard to tackle.
Yeah, and he's more shifty than what you would think.
He's got some explosiveness to him.
Mm-hmm.
There he is playing quarterback again.
Yeah, he's 200 pounds moving like that.
Luke better watch out. Cam might take his job. I want to see some more of them. I just want to see him. Look at that. Look at that arm. Dime.
Ooh.
Hey, Luke, you better be careful.
Emergency quarterback.
I want to see him run somebody over again, though. That's what I want to see. And look at this, right in the basket. But what I'm looking at too is his legs, man, his thighs. Like, he's gonna be a load.
Oh yeah, he's strong as hell.
Yeah. And again, guys, this is his junior season, so this isn't even senior year. So, and this is how he looks. And he actually throws a decent football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's off the back foot, kind of a hell of a throw right there.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He plays baseball.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, he does play baseball too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Here he is in some open field. Bop! I thought he was going to lower his shoulder and run him over, but he didn't. He went out of bounds. Pump fake, got him up. Got hit outside. That's the one thing that you can criticize about all the high school backs. The first thing they do is try to jump to the outside because that's just what always has worked in high school. But that's something he'll learn in college, that you don't need to take everything. Just cut up and get the ball up the field.
Right.
But that's every high school back. Every high school back does that.
Yep. That and just teaching patience. That's something Trey Benson struggled with. Just be patient, let your block set up, then go.
And I think it will be an adjustment for him because all of this stuff is out of the shotgun. He's getting direct snaps. So he's going to have to – and again, this is junior year, so I don't know if they used him the same way as senior year, but he's definitely going to have to get used to getting the ball off of a handoff. So
yeah, I think he did play quarterback this year. I think.
Yeah, so those are just little things that he's gonna have to get adapted to, and not getting direct snaps all the time in the shotgun as a quarterback. Learn how to get the ball off a handoff, secure the ball, those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam would be fine. The same way Cam Akers was fine. So both Cam's former quarterbacks. And Cam had a very solid FSU career. Cam Akers with a terrible O-line. with a terrible O-line and a not so great coach either. So
yeah,
Cam Akers was able to carve out a solid career.
It's crazy that we automatically know what each other's thinking with that. Both that was O-line were terrible.
It's god awful. Cam out here playing, pretty much out there playing the NCAA. Checking some comments real quick. So let's go to the highest offensive line commit. Do you know how to pronounce this? Manasseh
TT.
TT. Okay, that's how. I just ain't want to butcher it.
Yeah.
So you said it, not me. But this is your highest rated guy. Composite 4-star. He's rated higher on 247 Sports. 247 Sports has him as like a top 130 player.
Mm-hmm.
The composite has him as a top 400 player. So, but still a 4-star. Out of California, was committed to USC. And we flipped that 165, 290 pounds. Let's bring him up here. I'm over here talking and not showing y'all. And he has some highlights that we'll check out here too. What's your thoughts on him? I haven't actually watched any tape on him, but
yeah, I haven't either. With him over on the West Coast, good offer sheet. I mean, he's got
he's got all the Pac-12 schools.
Yeah, Pac-12, a lot of SEC, Auburn. Yeah, Auburn, Miami, Oregon, Utah. So yeah, so good offer sheet. Like I said, good size. 6'5", 290.
Let's check his tape out here. Okay, so his most recent. Nope, that's an interview. I don't want to watch that. What's his most recent highlight? All the stuff is okay. We're not gonna waste our time watching a bunch of interviews, and the only thing they have of him actually like playing is the Under Armour camp. And I don't want to watch offensive linemen without pads on. So that's
right. The useless drills.
Yeah, I don't have any. Want to watch that, but gonna be interesting to see. He's the highest rated guy, so we'll see what Alex Atkins done with him. I think he's definitely going to be a tackle for you. We'll see what they want to do with them. I don't think anybody on the offensive line in this class is like an instant. First of all, offensive linemen being instant contributors is always like, probably not going to happen, right?
Right.
But all of these guys, I think will be a year or two developmental guys before we see them. Very similar to that class with the Jalen Earlys and the Armellas. I think this is the year coming up that you're going to see the results of Armella early. I hope you see the results.
I would say it better be.
Right. I hope you see the results. I think it's going to be something similar with this class. You'll see the results in a couple years. No instant impact guys.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get into the elite levels of this class, in my opinion. Well, we already talked about like Cam Davis and LaWayne McCoy. But these DBs, like I know we missed out on KJ, but these DBs we landed, you've got some nasty guys here. And that starts off with Orlando native Kai Bates, top 100 player. He's actually 95 in the nation, 86 in the nation. I was wrong. And you see that grade. Hold on, let me bring him up. You see that grade. He's a 95 grade, 86 player, the 8th corner in the country, 14th player in the state of Florida, man. That's a flip from LSU.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, another team that likes to claim DBU, even though they haven't been that since Kelly's been there. They had a god-awful secondary this year. But they could have used a player like this to help that secondary. And we like to say Randy Shannon specials as kind of, like I'm gonna start saying Coach Surtain specials, but as a positive, because you're gonna see something by these DB recruits. You're gonna see a common denominator. It is gonna be length. 6'1.5", about 6'2", 180. I mean, I think he's a corner or a safety, however they want to use him. Obviously, look at the offer sheet. 43 offers for Kai Bates. Probably every SEC team, Bama, LSU, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, Missouri. I'm just reading off the SEC schools. Ole Miss, South Carolina, come on. The man had every Dion wanted him, of course, but Dion probably needs anybody right now. But everybody in the country wanted Kai Bates, man. What's your thoughts on Kai? I know I've talked too much about Kai, but what's your thoughts on Kai?
No, you good, man. I think somebody said in the comments section, and I agree. I think he's actually taller than 6'1.5", and he's probably 6'2", 6'3", and like you said, you got excellent elite length. Obviously, I haven't seen any verified speeds on him, but I mean, I think he'll be fine.
I've heard that might be the one weakness of his game. He's not slow, but he's not a blazer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But depending on what position he's playing, he doesn't need to be that. And with his length, he doesn't necessarily need to be that either. Right.
Yeah. So if you're pressing and you got good length, that can help you make up for lack of elite speed. And you saw that this year. None of the guys we have really has elite.
Yeah,
speed,
we didn't have any corners that were really like big time speed.
But you saw a ton of what would it lead the nation in pass breakups, like 77.
When you're playing with you saw our DB room was night and day under Coach Surtain. Like they played with way better technique. They were way better just at identifying pass and run play. Like they just were better. And you're going to see that with guys like Kai Bates and Jamari Howard, who we're going to talk about here shortly, and Lester, obviously. Like, I know we missed out on Balden, but this is an elite DB class.
It is.
And we already talked about Ricky Knight, who I think is very underrated. This is an elite DB class. And this guy, Kai Bates, he's a damn good football player.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I like him a lot.
Jeremiah Smith didn't turn in his letter. Yeah, I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that there's something going on there. I'm gonna just say this. It don't involve Florida State, y'all. I just want y'all to be clear. If there is something fishy going on with Jeremiah, I've been telling y'all all along, it don't involve FSU. And then unfortunately, y'all know what school it involves with. The school that all his teammates have already committed to. I've been telling y'all that for the past month now. So we'll see what happens though with that. That's not something I'm watching because I don't think it has anything to do with us. Jamari Howard's next. Miami. Speaking of Miami, this is another really good player out of Miami, man. There's some people compare him to Xavier Rhodes. And he's probably built like him. He's 6'2" again. Let me bring him up.
His wingspan is 80 inches.
Yeah, like I said, you're gonna see a theme here with these DBs, and it's gonna be length. It's gonna be length and more length. 6'2", 175. He's probably heavier than 175 now, from what I saw. He looked a little heavier than that. Could be, whatever. What's your thoughts on Jamari?
Yeah, man. I mean, look. I mean, for all the not misses, but just, if people want to, poo-poo the class. I mean, look, they've gone to South Florida and got some dogs.
Like I said, I don't, there's no reason to look. I know everybody wanted KJ, but there's no reason to. This class is this is by far the best class Mike has ever signed.
Yeah, by far.
And this is the best. This is the best secondary I can remember. I mean, can you think of a secondary better than this one?
It's been years since they've gotten guys of this caliber. I mean, and we're talking about four. And then on top of the class last year wasn't terrible either. So
no, they signed what 6 DBs last year?
Now, a couple of them, didn't have the highest ranking, but when you looked at the tape, those guys could play. So,
well, if you look at last year, if we just want to talk about last year's guys and combine them with this year's guys, KJ Kirkland, I think, fits with these guys. I know, again, the ranking didn't match, but there's tape of KJ Kirkland one-on-one with Travis Hunter holding his own. So, and then the other guy who surprised me was Kendarius Jones. He was on a 2 deep on a lot of the depth charts this year. So the staff likes him. I think they like his length. I think they liked his athleticism. So, and then of course Edwin Joseph, who I think he had I actually think Edwin had a surgery or something. So he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he got hurt.
So, and then
KJ Kirkland got hurt too. He got hurt in like the Southern Mississippi game, I think.
Yeah. And then, of course, Conrad Hussey, who showed you how good he was actually on the field this year. So, no, the DBs under Patrick Surtain are going to be fine. We're going to be A-okay on that. Next up, after Jamari, a guy who at one point was the number 1 tight end in the country and somehow fell all the way to number 7. I don't know how that happened. But everybody was excited to flip him from Georgia. Landon Thomas. And in my opinion, Composite has him the 5th. There's not 4 better tight ends than Landon Thomas. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, man, 6'4", 235, physically can probably get on the field as a freshman. It's tight end is difficult for freshmen, kind of like receivers, to really make an impact. But I mean, athletically, he's what? You ain't signed a guy like this out of high school since when?
Not at that position.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and just on top of it, and then also just when he flipped or whatever, that kind of lets you know, hey, look, they're at least trying to play big boy football. Yeah. Taking a guy from Georgia or whatever.
I think he was the first big whoa of this class.
Yeah,
we knew. No, go ahead.
Yeah, that was in April. So it's like I think we had 5, 6 commits maybe.
Yeah, we had Luke committed, but when Luke committed, he was a nobody.
Yeah.
We had Cam Davis committed, but Landon was the first. Wait a minute, we flipping Georgia prospects now? What's going on here? And so,
yeah, and he was a guy that used to be committed and flipped to Georgia and flipped back. So he's yeah. So I like him. Yeah, I like him a lot. He should be a player.
ESPN's the only one that kept Landon at number 1. I mean, he has some of the best tight end tape actually. He can. One of the things about Landon that I think can get him on the field. Because you kind of talked about how it's kind of tough for tight ends to get on the field early. And that's usually because they don't block. This kid blocks. Or at least tries to block. Now, we'll see if he can block at the college level. And at the high school level, he blocks. So I think that can help him get on the field.
Yeah, and he's going to be an early enrollee as far as I know.
Yeah.
So that'll be helpful.
Way the fan base is acting, Mike needs to be fired. But that's because, man, come on, y'all know. I told you about this fan base over and over. Some of these guys can't be pleased. Second best guy on your board here. The guy he played little games with y'all today. I thought it was hilarious, only because I never worried about him. So me personally, I was like, ha ha ha. But Charles Lester III, man, again, another long rangy. Now he also plays both sides of the ball. He's a 5-star on some, but this is your composite. Hold on, let me bring him up because I'm doing all the talking and y'all can't see what I'm talking about. There's all the stuff right there. Charles Lester, man, the second highest rated guy in your class. 5-star again on some sites. 39, that's a top 40 player. Number 3 corner in the country. 7th player in the state of Florida. And of course, Bama, Colorado. He made y'all think Colorado was going to steal him at the end there.
Yeah, he really. I don't know if out of all the recruits, it seems like he kind of was the one that really played the whole.
Out of all the recruits, he enjoyed the process the most by far.
Oh man,
Out
even
of all the
when
recruits.
even when he first committed, people was talking about Colorado. I don't know. I never bought into it. But yeah, like you said, he fits everything.
I think initially, I don't want to say Dion was going to get him. He tried. I do think at first Dion was like really trying there, but even that first commitment, I don't know if you watched it, but I think I did it. I did it live, and it was kind of a mess. I'm not going to lie. The recruitment ceremony he had there, but like I said, he's enjoyed the process more than any player in the class.
Yeah, for sure. But like you said, he fits the mold of everything we've been saying.
Favored on this one.
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
Good get.
Am I back?
You did, I think, for a second there.
Okay, so am I back?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, he fits everything that we've been saying. Long, rangy, change of direction, everything you look for in a top tier DB, man. So he needs to get stronger. Obviously, I mean that's most high school kids, but when you're talking about tackling in the run game and everything, but yeah, it's a lot to like about Charles. Excellent kid.
We only have one more guy to go over, so I'm gonna address David. I have no idea what you're talking about. Jared Verse is going to the NFL. What do you mean Jared Verse is not getting paid? He's about to get paid a lot of money.
What?
Unless you're talking about Patrick Payton and you got your players mixed up, I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. But we'll move on from that. Might be a troll. Probably is. No idea what he's talking about. And finally, man, this guy, you talk about started from the bottom, now we're here. I mean, this guy was a nobody. And he turns into your highest rated commit. Borderline 5-star, top 5 quarterback in the country, top 50 player in the country. Oh, that ain't him. That's still Charles. Hold on. Luke Skywalker Kromenhoek. What you got on Luke, man?
Man, this is when you got to tip your cap to the staff, man. I mean, as far as evaluating, we know they can evaluate. Well, especially quarterbacks or whatever. But when a guy hadn't even started a game in high school at quarterback and he's playing safety, and you offer him or whatever, and then you see him, develop and evolve into what he is. I mean, he's listed at 6'4". I think when they had the signing image they had today had him he's at 205 now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's put on some good weight over the last year or two. He's going to enroll early. And that's one thing I was just looking at with all of these guys. So out of the 22 guys, I think it was like 15 of them are going to enroll early. And so that's another big caveat to this class that.
But that's another thing that they do very well though. They I was talking about it earlier. They usually sign their class or they get the bulk of their class done pretty much in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they value that last week of summer's visits. That's always the big visit for them.
Yeah. And
that's always when they get most of their commitments. And then most of those guys are usually going to be early enrollees. So that's one thing that Florida State and Mike Norvell do. They get guys to early enroll, and they usually have the bulk of that class already signed before the season starts.
Yep. Yeah. So if you want to talk about just importance, I know everybody's, they were mad at Balden, flipped or whatever, but quarterback is much more important position to hit on. And I mean, I'll give it an example. I wrote about this earlier on my site today. And so if we want to give a comparison, Derwin James was a top 5 guy coming out of high school, All-American freshman. Got hurt his sophomore year. Junior year, obviously, he had an outstanding junior year. Right? Now, what record did FSU have in 2017, his junior year? They barely won 7 games. You remember DeAndre Francois got hurt. Didn't have good quarterback play, along with some other things. But the quarterback is the most important position. And they hit on I say they hit on it. On paper, they hit on it. Obviously, He's got to come in. He's got to develop and all that good stuff. But I mean, you got to sign him. They got him signed, and he's going to enroll early, and that's what you want. Now, if you want to talk about the school down the road there, they don't have a quarterback in that class, at least not of this caliber. So there you go.
Well, I think let's. I mean, we've covered the class, right? So now I don't know how much longer you want to be on, Kelvin, but just let me know.
I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, just let me know. But we can start talking about just everything in general that's surrounding not only the class but just recruiting and Florida State and even some of the rivals. Because Miami, look, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Miami, you closed strong. I said you would close strong. I thought Miami was going to close strong. But there's this guy who no longer has a job that showed you just signing a bunch of good players doesn't matter. And that guy that got fired is about 10 times the coach that your current coach is. I'm just going to be honest with you. So just because you have a bunch of good players, Miami fans, I mean, I guess the strategy is if you get him enough talent, he won't mess it up. But I mean, that Georgia Tech game showed a lot.
Well, you got to look at this too now. Now, of course, Miami fans are going to look at the ranking, right? The ranking. Number 3 or whatever it is. It reminds me a lot of team class. Very top heavy with, 6, 7, really top tier guys. And the rest of that class is a lot of 3-star developmental, going to take a while to get on the field type. The blue chip ratio is under 50%. So it's more quantity than quality. Right? So you got to, it's number 3, but I mean, there's a lot of there could be a lot of fat on that in that class if they don't get developed. And we know that they ain't the best at developing.
Here's my thing, and you hit it the nail on the head too. Like, and this could lead into the next conversation point because there's a big decision for FSU looming, and that's this quarterback situation. But like, and I don't know who you prefer. I know you did some videos on like Cam Ward or DJ. I'll let you give your thoughts here on that in a second. But if I'm Cam Ward, why would I pick Miami? Like, why would I go ruin? I'm not going to ruin my draft stock by going to play for that offense. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
There are so many data points to point to, like you just said. Why would you go do that? I mean, you got a guy, Justin Abert. I mean, look at his play. Look at TVD's play. I mean, it's where quarterbacks go to die. So and I think you might I don't know, maybe they just throw a whole bunch of money at him and he signs. I don't know.
The NFL's going to do that. He'd be better off going to the league and learning under, like, Cam Ward would be better off going to the NFL. If the money's the thing, go to the NFL.
Yeah, so I think it is kind of telling though that he went there first, and then you kind of have started to see Miami, maybe start looking at, like KJ Jefferson hit the portal, and you see the Miami guys starting to talk about, So I think that could be a little bit of writing on the wall. So we'll see.
So what do you think about Florida State, though? So what happens with this quarterback situation? What do you think?
Man, it's the way it looks is like, well, it's who do they think fits the program the best? I mean,
I agree. I in my opinion, it looks like FSU has the pick. I think they. It doesn't. It's like FSU is in the driver's seat of this.
Because when you're talking about, when Ward's dad was talking about what they talked about, he's talking about. I mean, basically, it felt like, they were interviewing one another, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we need you to prove that this, and this, or you can handle this, and this before we give you the okay or whatever. It wasn't like just solely, hey, we trying to sell FSU to you or whatever. Right. And then when you look at DJ's interview, I mean, it was almost like he was like, look, if they want me to commit, I'll commit right now.
I'm about to say, and look, to me, when I listened to DJ, it was almost, I don't want to say he was begging, but he was definitely like, look, I'm ready to commit now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's almost, yeah, I feel you, you know. So I mean, really, I don't think they can go wrong with either one. Really, it just whatever their preference is and how they feel their strengths and weaknesses matches with what's on the roster. You know, I can see. Look, I'm not mad at either one of them. Whoever they take, I don't. It's fine with me. I think they can win with both of them. You know, the offense is going to be different based on who they take. You're going to have strengths and weaknesses based on who they take, but you're going to win. You're going to be in a better position with either one of those two than who you have on the roster right now.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And you can't go back to 7-5 and 8-4.
Well, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that this year because then the narrative is going to be, oh, they went all in on, you know, this year, you know.
So how long do you think they wait on this? Or like, I guess why haven't they made a decision? If they are in the driver's seat, what are they waiting on? Like, why not announce a quarterback before the early signing period? Maybe that helps with Jeremiah Smith. I don't know. Probably not. But, you know.
That's a great question. I was kind of anticipating maybe that it may be today, you know, to try to, you know, offset, you know, Blunt and some negative stuff that may come out. Yeah. But then when it didn't happen, I was like, you know, so I'm thinking it's got to be within the next week, probably. I mean, because look, you got Christmas coming up, and spring semester is going to start the week after that, pretty much. You got to get enrolled and all that good stuff. So, and usually FSU wants the guys that are from the portal to enroll in the spring and go through spring practice. So if you're trying to get a receiver from the portal and some, you know, trying to get some O linemen from the portal, I mean, they're gonna have to get on it.
And they're definitely gonna want, because like whoever they get is the quarterback. So you obviously want that guy for spring practice, and like he has to be a part of that process. So I'm with you. I feel like it's got to be before Christmas. Yeah,
I'm thinking, man. What's the day? Wednesday. I've been out work this week, so my days I'm not even keeping up with the days, yo. So I'm thinking, you know, by Sunday, I would think by Sunday we got to know something at the very least. If not, I'm like, I don't know what the holdup is.
Yeah, I am glad, obviously, that the early signing period is done, because I do think now it's time to focus on, obviously, those instant impact portal guys, right? And they've killed that pretty much every year. Like, we can complain about recruiting, high school recruiting, and there's some valid complaints there. Even though this class, I think, is a great class, and I think a bunch of nitpicking is going to be about KJ and Blount, but whatever. I think this class ultimately is a great class. But if they can stack this class with another great portal class, I'm not so sure FSU isn't going on another 13-0 or attempting to go on another 13-0 run, because there's this perception that you're taking a step back. I don't know, depending on what you do in the portal to fill out this roster. This roster isn't terrible. Yes, we're losing some key guys, but we also got some talent waiting in the wings.
Oh, I agree. I mean, if you hit on quarterback, which I think like I say, either one of those, you'll be fine. You get a receiver, you're gonna have to get a receiver, I think, because you still got a lot of youth, man. I mean,
they are very young at receiver.
The young, because Douglas, you know, he was hurt half the year. Kentron was hurt the whole year, and so those are your two most experienced guys. And so you probably need a guy that's got some experience to come in there.
Okay, let's stop right there. I'm gonna let you continue, but you brought it up. So Evan Stewart, is that a guy you take I see a lot of people talking about Evan Stewart as he just recently hit the portal. You're aware of who that is, right? Yeah. Now, my thing with Evan Stewart is talent-wise, thumbs up, but he had a lot of issues at Texas A&M, and Mike Norvell tends to stray away from those type of players. I don't think Florida State isn't. I don't think they get involved with Evan Stewart, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Mike Norvell tends to shy away from, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think usually the guys they're really interested in, they do bring them on campus. So if they bring them on campus, then they're interested or whatever. I mean, that's probably a cop-out answer, but usually that's kind of how they do it. And if they take him, they whatever information whatever information comes out whenever they talk. I mean, obviously, Evan will give his side, and they'll probably do their due diligence, behind the scenes with the coaches and whatnot. So if they take him, I feel like they feel confident that he'll fit in with the team, and they'll go forward. So
absolutely, if they take him, I won't question it. And personally, I think they should pursue him. I just, knowing what I know of the staff, like this is a staff that flat out told Jaleel Skinner, we're not even interested in you anymore, right? My point is, usually when a guy has some or a history of issues, and he had his alleged history of issues at A&M, like I'm just, but like you said, get in front of him, get his side of the story. They'll make it. They'll make a determination on what they want to do with that.
Yeah, usually they'll reach out to the coaches and different people and kind of do some back channel stuff, get some info, and then move on from there.
Jimbo's been in Tallahassee recently, so I'm pretty sure they can get in contact with Jimbo if they really wanted to.
Right. Yeah, but I agree. I mean, like I said, he's got he's been productive and he's talented, so he would fit what they need for sure.
What are some other portal acquisitions that you were going to say?
I mean, player wise, I haven't really been keeping up with it. Who's entering and all that good stuff. I mean, just position wise. Where should FSU look at in the portal? Oh man, you're gonna need help on the D line for sure. Linebacker for sure. Like I said, we already talked about wide receiver, O line. You're gonna need help there. Those are the four main ones. Defensive end, so 5 if you want to count D and the defensive tackle separately. So you're going to need probably another defensive end beside Marvin Jones Jr. 2 linebackers since Lundy's in the portal for sure, right? He's already in the portal, right? Yeah, so you're probably going to need 2 linebackers because I can't imagine they're going to go into the season with Graham and Nicholson as the most experienced guys.
That's probably that's what it would be as of right now. That would,
so I mean, so you need help there. So offensive line, so all of those really. So 5 areas pretty much: defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, offensive line, and quarterback.
O-line. What position on the O-line are you looking at? Because I'm looking at the O-line, and we kind of hit on it earlier. Some of these guys you recruited, it's time for them to hit. It's time for Julian Armella to get on the field. It's time for Jalen Early to get on the field. And maybe even now Lucas Simmons is still a relatively new player, but I don't know. I watch other teams around the country play some of their offensive line. Maybe we're asking too much from him this early, but at some point, I do think those other guys, you lost Quayshawn Sapp, you lost Dontre Richardson. So
let me ask you about it. What's your take on that with those two? Do you have any info as far as why?
With Dontre, I don't have any info, but Quayshawn, I don't think was making the strides they wanted him to make. Mm-hmm. I think Quayshawn was kind of pushed out. Mm-hmm. Because I know they wanted him as a center. But then when you go watch Florida State throughout the season, and Maurice stayed kind of hurt this year. Mm-hmm. And even when the second team came in some of those blowouts, Quayshawn couldn't see the field. Mm-hmm. They would have Darius out there when they needed him. And for the second team, they'd have this walk-on Overton or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So if your scholarship center can't get on the field in garbage time, I think that's a serious issue. And that's ultimately what I think happened with Quayshawn Sapp. I don't know so much about what's up with Dontre Richardson. I don't know why he decided to leave. Mm-hmm. So that one's, sometimes you just don't know, right? You just don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you would think, like you said earlier, Armella, Early, those guys got to contribute this year. They got to. I mean, if not,
you're losing them.
Yeah, something's wrong with how you're developing these guys if they're not contributing. In year 3. But I mean, even if they do contribute, I mean, what are you going to get from Robert Scott if he stays or whatever? I mean, he was hurt the whole year.
Can't trust
so you probably need another tackle. You probably need another tackle. Are you going to get a good one from the portal? I don't know. I don't know. Interior wise, I mean, you probably need an interior guy and a tackle, I guess. It just depends on how the guys are developing and
That's true.
who's injury free, I guess. Does Maury Smith, is he serviceable? Can he, I mean, the way he was hurt this year, man, I mean, it seems like he might have just chronic issues with his back.
Him and Robert Scott. I think him and Robert Scott might just have chronic injury problems.
Yeah. And it's just and what it is kind of, and I see what the staff is trying to do. I mean, their problems probably came because they played so too early, and got out there and got ragdolled and got hurt, and then just don't have time to develop when you get hurt. Yeah. So I see the staff and what they're trying to do with keeping guys, from that happening. But some of it's going to depend on if those guys can play next year or not too. So we really don't know where they are in the process. But I'll just take the cop out answer and say a tackle and an interior guy.
So you think
at the very least, yeah. Okay. Because you got what? If you say Robert Scott's playing, so you got Scott, you got Washington. If Maurice comes back,
Byers. Andre.
Yeah, so if you could get a tackle and move Byers inside, I mean, that's
ideal, right?
Yeah, that's ideal.
Or hope that Julian can make that step and move Byers inside or something like that.
Yeah, so yeah. But you definitely need some D tackles, I think.
I agree.
Because if I don't know if Farmer, that whole situation.
Bro, you can't trust Farmer, bro. You can say it. I don't trust it, bro. Like, I like Farmer? Yes. As a football player, I do. I think just watching his development has been amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust Farmer to stay on this team, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man, how, like you said, you got to keep re-recruiting your own guys and all that good stuff. And, the Battles End probably didn't do themselves any favors with, announcing all of those, information.
And I do like some of our young guys. I think Daniel Lyons is good. I think he has a bright future, man. When I watch Daniel Lyons, he flashes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
KJ Sampson, I'm looking forward to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like we was lied to about Tafasi, but he's in the portal, so that is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the younger guys, man, I'm excited to watch. What does our D tackle room look like right now? Farmer, Jackson, Briggs is trying to get a 7th year. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. So those 3, and then like I said, Lyons and Sampson.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh man, we gotta add about.
So we've signed.
Bro, we might need to add like 3 tackles out of the portal.
Listen,
because
we have signed 1 blue chip defensive tackle since Mike's been here.
Hey, don't get me started. Y'all already know how I feel.
And that was Sampson last year.
That was KJ. Don't get me started because y'all already know how I feel about that. Yeah, losing to Fossey kind of hurts.
Yeah,
yeah, they might need like 3 guys at a portal at that tackle spot because they rotated those spots a lot this year. Oh, and Malcolm Ray hit the portal too.
Yeah, Ray hit the portal. So yeah, definitely, man. Then at the end, you losing Verse.
Yeah.
You'll have Peyton, you'll have
we
Turner.
Should be more healthy there. We should be more healthy at DA.
Yeah, you got Peyton Turner.
Turner.
You got what's the kid, the JUCO kid, Jaden Jones.
Jones, who we don't know what that is yet.
Yeah,
he's a 6'6" defensive end. So
yeah.
And then you bring in D.D. Holmes. You bring in more. We're more healthy at DN. You got
Boots,
and you got Boots in his redshirt freshman year. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
They put some weight on him. You got Dante Anderson, who's another one who maybe next year can kind of be a year for him to. I like the way Byron Turner played at the end of the year. So again, and
Edmonds, Gilbert Edmonds.
Gilbert Edmonds still on the team. Yeah, man, we're healthier at that DN spot. That tackle spot honestly scares me now that I think about it. Man.
Yeah. We need some reinforcements.
Because when you look at the amount of bodies we rotated this year, I mean, Fabo, Fisk, Ray, Briggs, Farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Even Lions was getting in there.
Yeah, Lions
Like,
got in there. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we need some defensive tackles. Good God.
Yeah. So hopefully, they can take some of that money, and go get some guys, man. I don't know. I look, if you got a Tampa or whatever,
Yeah, we got to get about.
You got to get somebody, dog.
At a minimum, you got to get at least 2.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 would be ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, especially considering the 2 guys you just signed, they're not going to be contributors this year.
Yeah, especially Jamar. I don't think Jamar Flagg. I mean, the Nas is going to have the size, but I think he needs a whole body overhaul just from. So, yeah, I agree. Those 2 guys you signed, they're not instant impact guys. So,
yeah. Oh, somebody mentioned we got MJJ. Yeah, we had mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, I think I mentioned Marvin Jones. Yeah. But I obviously, I mean, I think that's your 2 starters is Pat and Marvin Jones next year. That's going to be your 2.
Yeah,
2 guys off the edge, and that's a good duo. I think Marvin Jones Jr. is going to be better than what we saw at Georgia because they just didn't use him right, in my opinion. So I think,
I said the same thing.
Put his hand in the dirt. He was giving up his pad. He was giving up his chest too much at Georgia. Like they just had him standing up, rushing, and they really used. If you go watch what he did at Georgia, they almost used him more as like a spy or just an edge setter than an actual pass rusher, which. In my opinion, is not his strength. So I think FSU will use him to his strength.
Right.
But yeah, we mentioned Darrell Jackson. Like you don't have a lot of options at defensive tackle right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Like I said, usually with the portal guys, they like them to come in for the spring. So they're gonna have to do some work here if that's gonna be the case. But Mike, I have to give him credit. Mike usually has a plan. He usually has a plan. So
I agree.
I'm a trust the staff, and they've proven us wrong more than the other way around. So
I don't disagree.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt.
I think they will have some answers for us. I really think they kind of approached the portal this year differently, but I think that's because they were really focusing on closing this class out.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best recruiting class they've had, and I think they wanted to close it out strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they closed it out fine. You don't get Balden, that's a knock. But other than that, I thought you closed it out as expected. And I think now there's going to be full force in the portal. And they're obviously, there's still some guys that ain't even hit the portal yet that we don't even know.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they probably have an idea of some guys, and they'll
from the teams that's in the playoffs so
yeah.
And even some of the bowl teams that haven't announced guys yet. So yeah, I'm with you there. I do think there'll be a plan and they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
they better, because again, that D tackle room actually scares the hell out of me now.
Yeah, once you start talking, you're like, wait a minute.
Once you start realizing the names, you're like, whoa, we got 5 players?
No doubt.
That's bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, man. Well, I might need to get off here, man. And
yes, sir. I completely understand.
Yeah, I gotta get some. Gotta go to work by my second job. So.
Got you.
But I appreciate you having me on here, man. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Comments are great as always. So we have to do it again soon.
Well, I love having you on here, and I thank you. I know I hit you up last minute, but I figured, hey, let me see what you were up to. So
yeah, no, that's all good, man. Anytime, man. Just let me know.
Don't be afraid to hit me up, and I'll come on your show or your channel and return the favor whenever you want me to. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll do it, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. Have a good night.
All right. Peace.
All right, brother. But yeah, there we go, man. That was our little hold on. That was our there we go. Tribe of 2024 reaction and review. We went over every player, wanting to get a little different perspective than mine because I could just came on here and gave y'all all my takes, but I was trying to, bring Kelvin on and let him get a little difference of opinion, maybe, or just his own different take. So I'm Gucci, guys. I can answer some questions or we can cut it off here. Y'all let me know. What do y'all want to talk about? This whole thing has it's quieted down. I'm actually glad that it's over. I'm glad the recruiting's over for this class. This has been one of the, I don't know if wild is the right word, dumb. This has been one of the dumbest recruiting cycles in the history of with the combination of the NIL and the fact that these kids are not afraid to troll you fans anymore. It made this recruiting cycle fun, entertaining, again, dumb. But here we are. It's done for the. I mean, obviously, there's still the actual signing day, and there's still like Amari Williams is still out there as a potential get. Again, I'm not confident in that one, but we'll see where that ends up. But I'm glad it's over, so we can focus on the transfer portal and we can move on. Hell, yeah, we can talk about coaching hot boards. I think to be clear, I don't think anything happens till after Georgia, obviously. But yeah, Mike needs to change his staff. Look, I don't disagree with none of y'all. Pretty No Girl says he's happy to have the recruit sign. I agree with you. I'm excited for the portal. I'm excited for the players that chose to be here. But if y'all want to get in that coaching stuff, look, I think again, I don't put the blame on the coaches for KJ. You can. I'm not saying you can't, because I think that recruitment was handled poorly by the player and the family. But what I have a problem with, I have a big problem with that Amari Williams, man, the way that situation was handled. And that falls on Mike Norvell, in my opinion. As the head coach, if you land these kids, you're going to get the praise. So as the head coach, you're going to get the criticism for not landing these coaches. These players. And even if it's people not doing their job or not doing their job up to par, that's on Mike Norvell. It's time. You went 13-0. You've won 19 straight? Obviously, we got the bowl game here. So we'll see what happens with that. At the end of the day, Mike Norvell, it's time to, in my opinion, bro, it's time to tell JP you got to go. And if we keep having this mentality, Champ 99, then we're never going to get where we need to go. I'm sorry. The staff is okay, but a great coaching staff, come on, bro. There are obvious upgrades that need to happen on this staff. And if you're not willing to upgrade and have, because we won X amount of games, we don't upgrade, well, then you're just remaining stagnant and there's going to be no improvement. There are obvious weak links on this staff. Obvious weak links. And there's the two obvious guys. And I would argue three. I would argue the defensive staff needs an entire overhaul. If you're not going to get rid of Fuller, and I don't think Fuller's that great of a recruiter, honestly. But that's okay. But Odell, JP, and Randy, and these Randy Shannon specials at linebacker, bro, I don't think we can keep doing it. We just went over this class. And again, I am happy for everybody that signed, but y'all can't look at the linebackers and go that you're excited. If you notice, there wasn't a lot to say about them. You're talking about guys ranked in the 800s and 600s at linebacker, bro. And don't tell me it's not the position coaches when in Pat Surtain's first year. Go compare Charles Woodson's recruiting to Pat Surtain's recruiting, and it's night and day. In Surtain's first year, he not only are players playing better on the field, but he's recruiting a higher caliber. You think that's a coincidence? I've said this all along, bro. Recruiters recruit. People told me, well, when they start winning games, they'll get better players. And to a degree, that has been accurate. There's still certain position groups that are completely lacking. And that front seven on defense is not getting any better. You just see how worried I am at the D tackle room. You're not bringing in anybody on the D line that you're like, okay, this guy's going to give you minutes next year. No, and that's not a knock on D.D. Holmes, Flag, or Denaz White. But y'all are going to sit here and tell me that any one of those players in the front seven is going to compete next year? Parrish? No, none of these guys. So there has to be improvement. If we're going to talk about coaching changes, it starts on the defense. Offensively, man, they're A-okay. Running backs, good. Wide receivers, excellent. Hell, tight ends, even excellent. Quarterback, big time. O-line, solid. Atkins is still getting his numbers. And he gets a blue chip or two every cycle. So Atkins is going to have to make a break so much next year in terms of his development. We're going to need this. Again, there's some players that we're going to need to see get on the field next year on that O-line. Or you got to question, why aren't these players getting developed? But all the ace recruiters seem to be on that offensive staff. But the defense, man, unless your name's Pat Surtain, they're struggling. And at some point, Mike Norvell he has to make those changes. That's just, and some of y'all are going to just disagree, and we'll just agree to disagree. Name a weak link on the staff when it comes to coaching. See, here's the problem. If we were talking NFL, you'd be 100% right. But 50% of the game in college is not just coaching. It's actually recruiting. And I know y'all tend to think, I already know what the rebuttal will be. Just get me players and I'll take a 3-star and forget the 4-star. I can develop. You need players, bro. You need players. And if we can't come to grips with that, FSU has 3 national championships in their history. Go check those rosters and tell me we don't need players. Bro, you can get another special team coach. Y'all always trying to make excuses for a person, bro. It's special teams. You can get I'm not even having that discussion. I understand the problem with Florida State. Y'all are afraid of separation. Like, what's the word here? But y'all are obviously, and we're just fans, but y'all are afraid to make hard decisions. I keep JP because it's a special man. Get the hell out of here. It's special teams. And up until this year, because of Keon Coleman, you couldn't find a punt returner to save your life that was worth a damn. So miss me with the special teams. Miss me with the special teams when Fitz couldn't make a kick last year. Same special team coach. Come on, man. Learn to make tough decisions in life. He says, we recruit high-end portal guys. Absolutely. But now the high-end portal guys are gone. Peyton's not a portal guy, first of all. Neither was Farmer. But the Fisk and Verst are gone. And as we just went over the roster, who's replacing them? Who's replacing Fisk? Nobody, because you didn't recruit anybody. You still have to recruit. I know I love the portal as much as y'all love the portal. You still have to recruit. That's cap. They just developed. It took them 3 years to develop them. Oh, so if what you're telling me is you want to go 13-0, I guess every 3 years, or you want to wait every 3 years to develop, then that's fine. But just say that. Again, it took 3 years to develop all of these players y'all are talking about. In the meantime, what you go? 5-7, 10-2, and then 13-0. 13-0 means a lot. It's great. I just think we're using it as like, how do I explain this? Like, we sound so crazy right now. We're under the assumption that we can just roll out of bed, I feel like, and go 13-0 again. Like, again, and maybe this is just the old mentality of that I have been trained with over my 14 years serving this country. But you're always you should always be trying to improve your position. And y'all are just it feels to me like everybody's just happy to be here. Oh, we're 13-0. Everything's good. Keep everything the same. No, you should always be trying to improve on what you have. For some reason, I feel like we're just happy to be here, though. Exactly. It took Washington, if you go actually look at their recruiting, and it takes you 3 or 4 years, even in Washington, who doesn't recruit that well. It took them 3 or 4 years to get here. They're going to bottom out again next year. TCU is a perfect example. They were 12. They were in the playoffs. They were in the national championship. And guess what happened? They bottomed out. And now they're going to have to build it back up. Now, if Florida State fans are okay with that, I actually kind of can't believe we're having this conversation. But if FSU fans are okay with being 13-0 this year, and then going back down to 8-4 and 7-5 next year, and working your way back up, then just say that. I'm not okay with that, because again, there's a recipe for success. But Florida State fans love to ignore the 3 national championships and how you got them, because you didn't get them by developing 3 stars. You didn't. You didn't get the 3 natties because you developed a bunch of 3 stars. I feel like Balden could be a money move. There's a lot of things. A lot of people are saying it's a parent thing. And I'm realizing that I'm like far behind in the comments, but what's up, Joe? You saw my calf patch? Yes, sir. It's crazy. We're having crazy talk right now. We really are, but I get it. Some of us are just happy to be here. And after the 4-year stretch, I guess we went on, like I get talked as like I'm a negative person because I want to see continuous improvement. That there's a portion of this fan base that just wants you to be happy, even though you're getting pissed on. Like it's really crazy to me, but I'll take that. I'll carry that burden that I am the negative guy, because I want to see us go from I want to see us be 13-0 this year and be 13-0 next year. Well, that's how I feel too, but apparently it's not. Apparently, just be happy that you have decent coaches. Don't need to improve. Again, I don't feel any way about Balden. I'm not a fan of the way Balden handled the recruitment, if the reports are true. Talking about Balden at the beginning of the I'm not gonna keep no knock to you, but I'm not gonna keep circling back on Balden. Again, I don't blame the staff for Balden. I think Balden handled that recruitment fairly shady, if the reports are true. I see 3 losses next season with this team. Well, obviously, like, this isn't the final roster, so it's hard for me to say what the losses or wins will be next year. I'm only asking for the continued improvement of the team. And I don't know how you look at D-line recruiting, and I don't know how you look at the front seven recruiting and think this is sustainable. I don't. I don't know how you look at it and say it's sustainable. Because if you actually was recruiting the position, you wouldn't have to dip in the portal every year for some of these positions. So, but I know there's going to be people in the comments as I continue to scroll that's going to say, "Oh, the portal assault, the portal will fix everything," and I don't know how. Again, I don't know how accurate that is. That you can continue to find Jared Verses and Jermaine Johnsons in the portal. Newsflash: last year you didn't find that. Now you got Braden Fisk. He's an in the middle guy. He also played around some other talented players in that defensive line, so that helped everybody out. But I don't know how long you can continue to bank on landing the best defensive lineman in the portal. I think that's it. I think that's in a way a pipe dream. Bro, y'all using Miami as the example. Awesome. Then use Georgia, because I don't know why you want to act like Georgia doesn't exist. Bama doesn't exist. Texas doesn't exist. All the teams that are doing what I'm saying doing and not wetting the bed, because you're using a Mario Cristobal team. If you want to use Miami as the outlier, cool. Or Jimbo Fisher, who is well past his prime at A&M as an outlier, cool. But there's teams that do this year in, year out, stacking multiple national championships year in and year out. The formula's proven. When FSU was doing it, the formula's proven. But we want to pretend like FSU is supposed to be the exception to the rule. Awesome. Awesome. Got a $10 donation from a man, Jeff. He says, I want 10 or 11 games every year. That's what I'm used from watching. How do you think Bobby did that, Jeff? I'm glad that's what you want. Appreciate the donation as always. But how do you think Bobby did that? Because according to a lot of people in the chat, Bobby did it by stacking 3 stars and developing them. And if you think that, you've lost your damn mind. You're used to a standard, huh? Well, that standard didn't happen by mediocre recruiting. Insane, bro. Absolutely insane. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Hello?
Bro brought up Charlie Ward, but he gonna ignore Derek Brooks and everybody else. But he gonna bring up Charlie Ward. Awesome, insane. I'm glad the one guy that you say was a 3-star punter makes your argument. But if you want to bring up 93 team, well, let's talk about 99 team. Where's the 3-star punter at quarterback there? Let's talk about 2013 team and the 3-star punter at quarterback there. Oh, none of those exist. Again, the formula's proven. You can try to bring out outliers, like there's not a one exception to every rule, but we all know what the rule of thumb is. You got it. Come on, got to think on your feet. You got to, like, these are straw man arguments. Y'all have to be better than this, right? What? We say we can't depend on the portal. I said you can't depend strictly on the portal, and I love the portal as much as anybody. I definitely think you can utilize it. We need better recruiting, obviously. I haven't seen a question yet. And in the same breath, we say F them kids because we say they'll transfer. You did not ask a question. So I'll do my best with this. Let me try this again. We can't depend on the portal. Not wholly, as you can see, as I break down each kind of fragment of your sentence, we can't depend on the portal. If we could solely depend on the portal, why is our defensive tackle room as depleted as it is? We need better recruiting. If we had better recruiting, I'm just going to stay with the defensive tackle room. We would be bringing in, some guys who could actually play day one in the defensive tackle room. In the same breath, we say F them kids because we say they'll transfer. Now, this one, I don't even know what to do with that one. I can't even do anything with this last statement. But what I will say is, I'll just say this. You got me with the last one. I don't know how to break that one down. But yeah, F them kids. Certified says, do you think the ACC and the playoff snub had a major impact on us? I don't. I really don't. I don't think it had anything to do with. I really don't think it had anything to do with it. Ohio State has a national championship in the last 10 years. Clemson, 2 national championships in the last 10 years. What about LSU? What are we talking about? Clemson has put how many defensive linemen in the NFL over their run? NFL players. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Willie really tainted y'all expectations. They really did. He really did. They just happy to be here. That's okay though. They're allowed to be. We're all allowed to be our own fans in our own ways. Y'all acting like we can change something. Norvell gonna do it. Of course he's gonna do what they're gonna do. And guess what? You here because you want to talk about it, like everybody else. Saban is the only coach out here that has more than 2 natties. Sure. Dabo and Kirby both have 2. And they both did it by putting how many defensive linemen in the NFL? Let me take this off. Well, maybe I want to look at that and not my face. I'm just scrolling through the comments again. Some of us is just rehashing the same old talking points. I can't keep beating a dead horse. I can't convince, and I guess I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. But it is what it is at this point. Did I miss a super chat from you? No, I thought I hit your last super chat, didn't I? Yeah, this was the last one you had. I read this one. Unless you had another one. If you had another one, I apologize. I might have lost it. I just can't go back to it. I only see that one. I'm scrolling up. Oh, I did hit the. Okay, my bad. I see it. He says, I'm happy with this class. I think it's a good class. The next kid, this says that FSU is his favorite team. Hey, I said that. Stop recruiting the kids that say FSU is your dream school. Shout out to Jeff for another $10. You got to stop recruiting those kids because those recruitments never end well. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Hello.
My bad for missing that one though, Jeff. I didn't see it. Let me catch way back up here in the chat. At the end of the day, guess what? When that defensive back room is flying to the football and guys like Kai Bates and Lester and Howard are going in the first round, everybody's going to say we developed them. They're going to forget that they were thoroughbreds coming out of high school. So, again, I feel like I definitely beat this horse every recruiting cycle. It sounds like I hate this recruiting class. I am extremely happy with this recruiting class. But instead of how do I put this? So instead of saying that the class sucks, I'm simply saying that I thought everybody can plainly see by looking at the staff. Like, you can plainly look and go, whoa, there's a glaring difference in the recruiting of X players and X and Y players. But apparently, I guess we're happy with signings 2 defensive tackles and 2 linebackers. All 4 of them, like, ranked in the 600s and below. Insane, bro. No, Insane's just in here bitching that we're bitching. Make that make sense.
Yes, ma'am.
I see you, Terrell. I think you've commented this like 5 times, but I'll read it. It's a process for sure. We had to lose, then win back. Yes, I agree on improving. Thank you for your service and grateful. And I thank you, Terrell. You've got to recruit the trenches. And that's really all I'm saying. And I don't want to pick on JP or Odell, but they coach the trenches. So it kind of is what it is. As far as Randy goes, I would be okay with Randy's recruiting if we were recruiting the trenches better. So something has to go. Like, something has to give. Something does have to give. What has LSU done since 2019? Okay, what has Florida State done since 2013? Like, why do we do this? I got faith in Mike. I didn't say I didn't have faith in Mike. I just want him to address, like you're saying here, the weaknesses in the coaching staff. He went out and got Surtain. Absolutely. And that's all I'm saying, know the rules, is that changes need to be made. But somehow that's a problem. Like, I don't know how me saying changes needs to be made is a problem. I don't really get that. I don't. What meat I left on the bone, bro? Some people have to be realistic. We have 2 good years after 4 years of mediocrity. If people expect us to recruit. No, I'm not expecting us to recruit with Bama and Georgia per se. But see, this is where you discredit your comment, because you bring up Mario and then you say, well, he's selling dreams that he can't cash. But it's like, he's still, look at his defensive line. Like, say what you want about Mario. Again, and I don't think the guy can coach his way out of a wet paper bag. But you know what he is doing? He's building the team the right way a team's supposed to be built. He's building it from the inside out. They are about to have an elite defensive line and elite offensive line going on for the next few years. Like, that's barring every player obviously hitting. Like, you never know, right? but they are putting themselves in position that the trenches will dominate. At a certain point, even Mario won't be able to mess that up. So if we can say that Mike Norvell is this great coach, that's cool. Well, why can't a great coach also get great players and take over like Kirby can do it and Saban can do it and Dabo? Well, I don't know if I put Dabo in a great coach category, but Urban Meyer, like, again, there's a proven formula, man, of how this thing works. I just, and using Miami it contradicts what you're saying because he's building the team the right way. And y'all are going to be real pissed off when Miami starts hitting. When I mean hitting, I don't mean on the transfer. I don't mean on the recruiting. I mean in games. Because at a certain point, the talent level is just going to speak. Y'all are going to be real salty when that happens. Nah, pretty no girl, I hate you. I've been tired of the Randy special, but we'll see. We'll see, I said it about Eubanks. People told me I was crazy. He transferred. I said it about the boy that we got from North Carolina North Texas. He transferred. We'll see about these two that we picked up this year. One of them is not going to be here this time next year. Watch. I think they'll hit the portal strong. I really do. You're right. That's exactly. I should have went up to all of them and said, "You motherfuckers need to recruit better." You're right. I think, Zoe, you're being too dramatic. No, this class is a top 10 class, and you've got an elite DB haul. First of all, your skill position players you hit out the park. Your receivers, running back, DBs, and obviously your quarterback. You nailed all of that. Those positions are championship pieces. Your O-line, you signed 4 guys, 2 guys who are legit blue chippers, and then 2 project guys. Like Atkins stayed steady in what he's usually doing on the O-line. So I can't criticize Atkins much. He's not getting like a 5-star, but he's staying pretty consistent of how he recruits that position. Everything else on the defense side of the ball, again, that front 7, you take out D.D. Holmes, who's the only, it's bad. It's bad.
Interior, garage, door.
Well, actually, hold on, my bad. Our linebacker recruiting in recent years have actually been boom or bust. That's probably an accurate way to describe it, but it's really been more so sign what you can and get whatever you don't get in the portal, and it's worked to a degree. But you're going to start again. I think you're just going to start seeing the fit you're going to start seeing the effects, I think. And I think you see it as of right now. Now, we have no idea what they do in the portal on the defensive line. But as things stand at this moment, that defensive tackle room is scary. First of all, y'all don't even know if Farmer's going to be on this team next year. So worst case scenario, what if he leaves? But you don't have any players. At least not that you want to, you have no depth. Even if you think Daniel Lyons is the second coming of freaking Travis Johnson, and KJ Sampson is Corey Simon. You have nothing behind those guys. So they're gonna have to hit again. They're gonna have to go 3. They're gonna have to go 2 or 3 in the portal just at D tackle alone. you probably want to add at least another defensive end, though defensive end is a lot healthier than, and this is also assuming Marvin Jones steps his play up, also can stay healthy. Defensive end is a lot healthier. But that D tackle room scares me. Maybe y'all aren't scared by it, but I'm scared by it. I'm just scrolling through comments, y'all. Bro, that is first of all, that is not her. That is one of them AI generated pics. But that's a damn shame, though. Well, that's a great question. That's a great question. Who are we recruiting at defensive tackle? Novell needs to find his Mickey Andrews like Bobby. Had all 4 years they were together. The rest of people, we love and miss you. I mean, I think he believes Adam Fuller is that. Yeah, you see Zuki in here. You see what he's doing. You see where his head at. Damn shame. Can't even talk sports, man. These dang Negroes. But anyway, I think Mike and you saw they just gave Adam Fuller that extension. So that tells me that Norvell wants to keep Adam Fuller around. I think Mike likes Adam, obviously, and Adam has done nothing but prove that he deserves every raise that he's got. So I think he's found his quote unquote Mickey. I mean, that Mickey Andrews is tall shoes to fill. But I think if you want Adam Fuller to continue to be successful, man, you got to help him out up front. And I don't think Adam Fuller is the best recruiter. And some of that can go on Mike Norvell, because I saw somebody in the comments earlier say it, like Bobby Balden was your closer. You brought Bobby Balden in there. Derek Brooks has told the famous story of his recruitment with Bobby Balden, and that's a defensive player, and everybody knows Bobby was an offensive coach. Mike probably needs to be a better closer. I think the thing about this staff that is not this staff. Let me take that back, because you really got a veteran staff, which is also why I say you need to get rid of some of the dead weight, because some of these coaches aren't going to get better in terms of recruiting. They are who they are. Randy Shannon's been around for 30, 40 years. So Owen L. Higgins as well. Like, some of these guys are older. Mike is a young coach still at 40. What is Mike, 40, early 40s? I think Mike is still learning. We've seen since he's been here, he's continued to learn. Mike coming from Memphis, and before Memphis, I think he's at Arizona State. Bro, he's not used to this Florida grind and what these Florida recruiting battles really mean. These Florida recruiting battles are different. And I think Mike's learning that. And I think at some point he's got to get a little bit more dog in him to close out these recruitments. So some of this recruitment falls on him. I do think you got to make changes, but some of the recruitment falls on him. Mike has to stop being so nice, because I guarantee you can say what you want about Mario, but Mario goes in that recruiting meeting. Mario goes in those homes. He goes in there with the killer instinct, right? I'm not so much worried about Billy. Billy's just trash all the way around. I think more so the logo was recruiting for Billy than Billy is. I mean, you saw how Billy just collapsed this year on the field and off the field. and I don't want to say Mike's playing, right? I don't think Mike is playing. I think Mike, as somebody said, I think Mike has this thing of like playing nice ball, man. Like, again, I don't know if he has that killer in him yet. And I don't know if he can develop him. I don't know what it's going to take. But I feel like, I think someone else said it in the chat, like too nice, or, you know, like too trusting. Like if I'm Mike Norvell, maybe get some Dabo in you. You feel me? Like, I don't know. Like, hey, you know, like some of these coaches, man, and we think they're unfair, and yeah, we can criticize them, but some of these coaches, you know, they'll tell you straight up, like, if you're gonna commit here, you ain't visiting nowhere else, or I'm gonna pull your scholarship. Like some of these guys, you're gonna have to play hardball with to start closing out. We got to start closing out on some of these, and I think you've seen that with Alex Atkins. If y'all don't remember the Quayshawn Sapp story, and even Julian Armella, these guys wanted to sign later on, and Atkins said, you going to sign now or you not going to sign? Allegedly. I don't know that for a fact, but allegedly. And lock those recruitments down. I think as a whole, man, we need more of that on this staff. That's all I'm saying. I'm not criticizing the class, y'all. I love this class. And I feel like if you're just tuning in, or it sounds like I'm like down, and I'm really not. It baffles me that I go, man, we should probably improve somewhere on the staff. And then I get a bunch of pushback of like, what? Heck no, we don't need to improve nothing. And I'm like, really? So I see the positives for sure. I think the portal's a valid option. But I also look at the portal this year and I go, you had some big time defensive linemen in that portal and you just haven't signed any yet. So what do we do? Because you've let the Will Normans and the Overtons and the one defensive end from Pitt and one defensive end from Georgia Tech and the one from Duke. You let all these guys go already. They're gone. Those were the big time. So you are we hoping and praying that more guys like that hit the portal? I think that's kind of crazy. So all I'm saying is, man, we got to recruit better. But I am 100% positive that there's a plan going into this portal now that recruiting is done. And I do think there's a plan going forward, and I'm interested to see how they execute it. Yeah, Dion, that Colorado recruiting's nasty up there. At least you're not Colorado or Florida State. No, that stuff's nasty. At this point, you can chalk that up. Seaton's not good. First of all, I didn't think Seaton was going to sign there. I was surprised when he committed because, bro, five-star offensive lineman, you're going to go play with absolutely nobody at Colorado. First of all, we have no idea. We don't even know if Shadur has a fractured back or something like that. I pray that he gets better, obviously. But is Shadur even going to play next year? Like, I'm assuming he's going to play, but fractured back sounds kind of serious. They've already had those transfer portal O linemen. Well, two of those guys have already flipped. One guy went to Oregon. I think they lost another guy. They lost a defensive end today who flipped to Georgia Tech. I forget where he flipped to, but it was a 4-star DN who flipped. Like, bro, if I'm Seaton, am I really going to go all the way to Boulder, Colorado to play with nobody? Again, man, the charade has been unveiled over there at Colorado, man. I do think Deion will continue to attack the portal because, you know, that'll kind of work for him, but he's going to have some of the same results that he had last year. You can't keep building teams in the portal for 1 year. The same thing I said about Deion last year, where he put that team together in 4 months out of the portal and expected that team to play well. I was amazed that it played as well as it did early on, but you saw the wheels fall off of that thing by the end. I think you're looking at something very similar next year. But I think we'll go ahead and call it quits, man. That was a great, energetic conversation at the end of the stream. So y'all waited till Kelvin got off to go ham, or maybe I waited till Kelvin got off to say something, which I didn't even think was controversial, but apparently, it pissed a lot of people off. That's okay. I allow you guys to come over here and be pissed off. That's what we do. We come over here, we get pissed off. I let you yell at me. I'll yell at y'all, and then we hug it out and we dip out at the end of the show. So I appreciate y'all. As always, y'all hit the like button. If you didn't hit it on the way in, hit it on the way out. The class is ranked number 9 right now, I think, in St. Mob. So still a top 10 class. Dion also thinks he can sell the social media dream he did to Travis Hunter. Everyone ain't hearing that. Well, the problem is, Antoine, it ain't even that, in my opinion. It's that your Travis Hunter, I mean, again, Dion has kind of he's sold the dream of I'm the best DB of all time, so DBs come play for me. The problem is Travis Hunter hadn't really developed as a DB. He's a hell of a wide receiver, as we all know, hell of an athlete, but he ain't developed as a DB. Cornerback McClain didn't even play last year. That charade is kind of getting exposed. So a lot of things is getting exposed, in my opinion, in Colorado, and I'll probably get hate for that. Because the Dion haters are always lurking whenever I say something about Dion, so that'll probably get them riled up. So just a lot of things I think is being exposed in Boulder. 3 to 4 of the recruits we got were 5 stars when they committed. That's true. I'll give you that. But again, we're not talking about skill position players. You're not wrong. And again, I'm not worried about the skill position players. Like I said, we knocked skill position guys out the park. But none of those guys in the trenches were 3 to 5 star recruits when they committed. That again, I'm strictly talking about the trenches, not the skill position guys. I know we knocked skill position guys out the park, like I said earlier. But them guys, specifically defensive line it's concerning, and it should be concerning. But we'll see what they do in the portal. Good night, John. Appreciate you. Definitely will be I think he'll definitely be a wide receiver too. FSU wins the ACC again. I hope so, champs. I really do. I really hope so. Florida State win the ACC again next year. I think it's a manageable schedule. I think Memphis is our I think Memphis is an out of conference game. Notre Dame. I think those are the 2 out of conference games next year. Not 100% sure. People will stop bitching about recruiting isn't high as they want. Well, like I said, y'all are bitching that we are bitching, so everybody's being a bitch. Call it for what it is. So there's that. Crying about someone else's crying just makes you a crybaby, or bitch, as you would like to put it. So we'll leave it at that. And again, as always, man, hit the like button on your way out if you don't hit it on the way in. Share the video. Continue to share the video. And we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. I mean, it's the truth. Crying about other people crying is a wild concept. And I'm going to get on up out of here. 3 hours strong. So, NK, you don't have to explain anymore. We are good on that. And as always, man, it's your boy POLK. And happy holidays. I don't know. Let's see, today's Wednesday. May or may not do something the rest of the week. Who knows? Who knows? As more stuff comes out, I might do something if we sign a quarterback. So the rest of the week is open. Again, happy holidays. If I don't see you before the Christmas holidays, and we'll wait. We will wait and see what happens with this quarterback position, because that could tell you a lot too with the transfer portal. So 3 hours strong, bro. And we argued a lot at the end. But again, I love you anyway. As always, man, I'm out here. Y'all have a great, again, happy holidays, great rest of your Wednesday. And stay classy. The word bitch got thrown around a lot, so y'all need to stop bitching. And stop bitching about those that are bitching. And we out here. Go Noles.